Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever episode of Turnbuckle Talk with yours truly, Samtastic29, and my co-host and friend, Mr. JJ Dub 97.
What's
JJ, I am absolutely excited, my man, to be doing this with you. It's been in the works for a while now. First, sitting down and going over the first episode, we did a couple of teasers that have been dropping on Instagram and TikTok and, here and there, and JJ's been hitting that up.
yeah?
This is the first full episode. So we're going to touch base on, we're just two friends with a passion for wrestling. We're going to touch a bit on everything to do with wrestling, but specifically we're going to hit up on points and highlight points over the last week with obviously Raw 2 days ago and SmackDown at the end of last week, and moving forward to see what we think's going to happen. So yeah, welcome in. It's great to have you with us, and I'll let you start then, dude. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to hit up this week and highlight? What's taken your fancy on SmackDown and Raw over the last week?
So let's just go straight into the safest play that WWE have made over this weekend, and that is Becky Lynch, new women's champion. So
Hashtag Becky Hogan.
or Becky Hogan, yeah, as she's better known as, and what I've literally constantly been seeing on socials. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. So to me,
it's
a safe play, a very, very safe play, because
yeah,
personally, with what's there, the women's division at the moment is pretty weak. It's not worth the
agreed.
risk of putting a Liv Morgan or a Nia Jax, because they're the only two that you would have picked out of that bunch, bar Becky.
Yeah, to be fair, I see exactly what you mean. Everybody on social that I've seen are clearly upset that Liv has come back. She's had the revenge against Rhea. She's now injured Rhea, and she comes up short at the Battle Royal. To me, it is a safe booking. It's a lazy booking
Oh,
for
yeah.
that reason. I think maybe they're hyping up for something big towards the next event. We've got Backlash coming up. Nothing's going to happen there. It's too soon to crown the champion right before Backlash, but maybe the likes of SummerSlam or something moving forward, there's going to be that story there with Liv where her revenge tour is going to carry on. It's a bit like the Cody situation when Cody came back to WWE. We all knew Cody was going to win the championship at some point. Came short at WrestleMania. They extended it. I think that's what they're doing with Liv. They're going to just extend her revenge tour to make the most out of it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And because it's more of and it's back on the safe play of Becky didn't really get her moment, but that you can't dethrone Rhea that at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So now this is the chance to get Becky her moment, her glory, which the way she celebrated and the way she acted with the fans, it popped. It did pop in the arena.
She's great. Becky is great, and you can see why they've made that safe bet with her. Like you say, out of the 6 women that were in there, Piper Niven made no sense in my mind at all.
It's
Chelsea
just
Green made no
they're just
sense in my
fillers.
mind at all.
Fillers.
Yeah, it's just it bums on seats, so to speak, for want of a better term. It's bums
Yeah.
on seats. It's gap fillers. Yeah, because let's face it, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, you wouldn't put them in a championship match. They're not ready for it. Chelsea, okay, yes, everybody knows who Chelsea Green is, but her character, I'm not a fan.
No.
But yeah, I agree. Very safe booking. I can understand why they've done it, but it has to be. And I'm not the only person to say this. I'm not the only person to think it. I've seen it all over Instagram and YouTube and all the comments here and there. And a lot of people are saying this is the first L in the new era.
Oh yeah. Well, if you look at their YouTube video of Becky winning it, it's got more dislikes than likes.
Yeah,
that just sums it
exactly,
up.
which is saying something big. But the good thing from this is that Triple H and TKO are listening to fans now.
Oh yeah,
Whereas
100%.
back in the day, Vinnie Mac would go, well, I want to hear what you want to say, but then he would also go, but I'm not going to pay attention to it. Whereas TKO seemed to actually go, right, we want your feedback. And actually, this time round, we're going to do something about it, and we're going to push some way at least to let the crowd dictate what's going to happen, because it is a crowd product at the end of the day.
Of course it
You
is.
want your fans to be happy to keep coming back.
100%. And that's where I feel that putting Becky as champ now will begin to help someone like Liv to
Yeah,
to get that bigger push for when Rhea is back, and then it leads to there's a better match there. There's a
yeah.
100% better
It's
match.
it's definitely going to be interesting because Rhea has in the background. Well, I haven't lost this. Nobody's beaten me. I'm
Exactly.
undefeated. I had to relinquish this. Um, so there's that's going to play on. Liv's going to be pissy, which means her revenge tour is going to get even more vengeful. Is
Yeah,
she now going to go after Becky while Liv is, while Rhea is not around? Is she going to target Becky because Becky's the one that made her come up short? But then also, if you look at the history, Liv lost in Elimination Chamber because of Becky as well. So now
exactly.
Liv has got a couple of losses totted up against Becky. So now is she going to target Becky moving forward in the hopes that Rhea will come back soon, take the championship from Becky to be I guess, the undisputed women's champion because it would be in dispute,
Yeah.
and then Liv go from there.
So yeah, and also it just makes more sense on that front of what you said, just because obviously Liv's got the few defeats, and now all of a sudden Becky's got more over her rather than Liv
Yeah,
winning it. It doesn't make sense for her to win it, then Becky be like, oh, wait a minute, I need to win it.
yeah. Well,
Like,
I bit exactly. I beat you at Elimination Chamber. I'm the one that, you took so and so out, and then immediately I beat you, and you came up short, and I sealed my number one spot to WrestleMania. Why would you win it now?
yeah,
You
exactly.
can't beat me now. You can't beat me then. You can't beat me now.
Nah,
I mean, it could pan out to work out very well, but yeah, I agree. Ultimately, at this point, it's a safe and therefore lazy booking.
100%. But I still think that they'll use Nia Jax as some big brute that just won't piss off like she did before with between Rhea and Becky. She's just annoying. Like, she's just got no right to be there. But
Nia pisses me off.
I just don't know. Is it because she's just looks like the women's Big Show? She's just got to be there for brute force.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's that old adage of David versus Goliath, isn't it? And it's that stigma that, oh, she must be Superwoman because she managed to defeat Nia Jax. Like Becky now taking out Nia Jax with that leg drop and Nia rolling over the top. I mean, that was sold poorly as well. Sorry,
Mm.
I'm just saying that was so poorly sold by Nia. But when you look at the people that have been let go by WWE, they're huge talents that deserve more. And then she was brought back in the midst of the likes of Riddle, and I touched on this when we did our teaser, um, on the likes of Riddle and especially Dolph Ziggler being let go.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler is one of the best sellers. He's as a wrestler, he's fantastic as a collegiate wrestler as well as a professional wrestler. He has the talent, he has the charisma. In my mind, I think he's great. I think he was underrated and underused a lot of the time with WWE. And to get rid of him and to bring back in Nia, who was dangerous at the time, that her reputation in the locker room was that she is unsafe, she's hurting people.
Mm.
Um, and then they brought her back anyway. And I was just like, what is going on? But that was a Vinnie Mac move before he left.
Yeah.
And
And
it was
of course it
because he's
was.
always liked the bigger people. He's always liked the idea of your Big Shows, your Kevin Nashes, and not to say that they're not talented or anything like that, but he has always had the persona that the bigger you are, the better you are as a wrestler. Whereas actual facts, it's come to prove, you look at the likes of Rey Mysterio, that isn't always the case. Rey Mysterio is one of the most talented wrestlers you will ever see, and he's tiny in comparison to a lot of them.
Oh yeah, but then it's Vince never moved with the times. It was always
No,
the era he lived in was it was always big man versus little man. It
yeah,
made for a better match, a better
it was
show. It
always
sold
Hulk
more.
Hogan, Andre the Giant is what it
And
was.
then you
That
had,
was what it
if
was
you
made.
look through the years, obviously the smallest stars big show then was the new Andre the Giant, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden it was Mark Henry. It's always
yeah,
been sold.
exactly.
And then Great Khali you had in there, like the big guy. But now
Yeah,
people don't like. Obviously, we enjoy that. We still
people don't
enjoy
want to
that
see
sort of
that all
thing,
the
but
time.
we want
Yeah,
the story. We want a
yeah.
proper story that comes with it. We just
Well,
don't want
exactly. You don't just want
David versus Goliath
big
week in,
guys
week
here.
out.
Yeah, exactly. You want a story behind it, and that's where Braun Strowman has fallen short. I mean, look, he came back. he left. He got released. He started his own company with EC3. Changed the narrative, and then he got brought back. He was back for a few months, and then we've not seen him again. I know he obviously. I think he had an injury, if I remember rightly. I don't know, but he came back with his bright red jeans, and it just looked so out of place. He didn't look. They diminished the monster.
Yeah.
The monster that he was when he started with Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family. He was unstoppable. He was taking out Big Show. He was taking out Mark Henry. He was a force to be reckoned with
He was putting
the bigger
fear into
guys like
people's eyes.
exactly. And then he came back, and it's like, what is this?
And now
Who is
it's, yeah.
this shit person? As soon as they put him with Alexa Bliss for that mixed tag match, actually, for that mixed tag tournament that they did, I think kind of diminished his character, but drew people to him as a person. Was like, oh, this guy's a really nice guy, and he's looking after Alexa, etc. And everybody loves Alexa Bliss. Let's face it. If you don't protect Alexa Bliss, you're in trouble. But that diminished that monster character, this guy that was just there to take everybody out and could do it. And now I don't see him as that.
No, it's happened with a lot of them though. If you just look throughout, they sort of just become a gimmick towards the end of their stay with
Yeah,
WWE constantly
exactly.
because people
And I
got
think that's the
bored of
one thing that
David versus Goliath, and then
yeah,
they tried something
and I think
that
that's the
God knows what they were thinking.
yeah.
Creative was
No, I
poor.
totally agree. But hopefully now that the wrestlers and the talent in the back that are out the front in the main stage, not the creative writers, but the wrestlers themselves, are having a bit more say in their character build up and stuff under the wings of Triple H and the likes of Shawn Michaels and NXT and stuff. Hopefully that is going to be spectacular.
Oh,
Because if you look at
100%.
OVW, if you look at OVW from wrestlers on Netflix, Al Snow over Ohio Valley Wrestling, you look at some of the wrestlers that he's got over there, and they're creating the narrative and the storylines. And although they've got a smaller fan base, their fans are lapping it up and loving it.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, this is crazy. And that's coming from the people that know the business. Okay, not necessarily the back, but they know the fans. They read the fans every time they go out into the ring. And it's no different to people being on TV. You can see when people are different to themselves. If they're on live television and stuff, you
Mm.
can see when they're a bit off, and the fans aren't stupid.
No, it is just let them give you the title and you polish the story. That's what it is, and
Yeah,
I feel that's what a lot of them are getting now. Like you can see
yeah.
there's a lot of it, especially we'll move on more into it, but the bloodline, like
Hmm.
this new bloodline, you can see how they're building it, and Heyman is just
Yeah.
he's again he's just another Emmy award winning week for him in my eyes.
But when isn't it? When isn't it? This is what I said to you in our teaser. Heyman is a god. He is a wrestling god. JBL coined the phrase "I'm a wrestling god." Yeah, as a wrestler, you may have been a god at the time, but if you want to talk about a wrestling god of the business, that's Paul Heyman.
Yeah, yeah, literally. So I don't know if you want to move on to the bloodline next, or we'll save that juicy part.
Well, we're talking about juicy, and we're talking about big men. So I wanted where this is going. I can tell by your face already. And I had burgers for dinner. So I
Oh,
wanted to touch base on the promo between the two friends, that is Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, because Drew McIntyre at the moment for me is doing his best ever work. He is cooking something chronic and doing amazing stuff on the microphone. And for him to come back and Sheamus saying, "Yeah, we're friends and we used to do banger after banger after banger," and then Drew's like, "Yeah, we did, but since you've come back, it's like you've had burger after burger after burger." I'm like, "Oh shit, here
soon
comes the body shaming."
as soon as he said that, because like obviously with my TikTok
I died.
videos, and I was watching, I was like the body shaming. It was just like straight on Sheamus. Why? And then
Yeah,
obviously that come out, but then the way Sheamus just played it, and then literally just threw his own roast towards Drew. It was just the
yeah,
perfect Scottish versus Irish. back and forth that you dream of.
Yeah. It's typical. It's typical British banter, isn't it? So what we see here in England a lot of is mates taking the piss out of one another,
But he
and you
summed it
can
up.
tell they're genuinely friends.
Yeah, on that he summed it up perfectly. Like we'd go fist to fist, and we'd beat each other senseless. But straight after, we'll
Yeah.
be having a pint after.
Exactly.
Pure,
That's what happens a lot of the time, and I think that's the best way to set it. I mean, that's what happened in the olden days. You know, you go, okay, we'll make a squared circle. The Vikings would fight, and if it wasn't to the death, they'd have an ale next to each other afterwards. They'd sit down. I mean, and if you look at all these, and it's completely off subject, but relative to the promo, if you look at like all these bare knuckle fights with travelers on YouTube and stuff, it's exactly what they do. They get in their little area, they fight, they say well done, and then they bugger off. And you know, they have nothing to do with each other. Or they go, oh, okay, well let's have a pint. You put up a good fight. Let's go and have a drink. We deserve it.
literally. But it's on Sheamus though. He doesn't look like he's lost it. To be honest, I don't know.
He hasn't lost it. He might have put on a bit of timber, but he definitely hasn't lost it in the ring. He's clearly been training, ready to come
Yeah,
back.
he knew he was ready. Like he didn't. He doesn't look
Yeah,
like he's rushed himself, and he's had to change a few things here and there.
yeah.
He's back.
I mean, yeah, he's put on weight. But it happens, you know, you're human. He's yes, he's an athlete, but look at the shape he's in. Yeah, okay. He's in better shape than most people that watch wrestling, and we're the first ones to go, oh, he's put on some weight. I mean, I need to lose some weight as well, Seamus, so don't worry.
But no, it was just
But yeah, I'm glad he's back though. We were
one
talking
hundred
about this
percent.
and we mentioned about this, and I want to see Sheamus get that Intercontinental Championship. Is it going to happen? I don't know how they're planning it. Are they going to put him in a little bit of a reignited feud with Drew McIntyre? Maybe until CM Punk is back in action.
That could be
Maybe
the
some
clash
comments
clash of
between the two.
Castle feud that
I mean, that would be a good match.
all British fight,
Got Drew from Scotland, Sheamus from Ireland, and then they clashing at the castle. It makes sense to have a bit of a
and
reignited feud because
they can put on an absolute show. Like they're not
oh
gonna.
yeah, absolutely.
It's gonna.
Well, look at the triple threat that they had with Gunter.
Yeah,
The three of
Jesus.
them. What a hell of a match. I mean, I loved it. A lot of people said it was just a chop fest, but that's what I loved about it. I loved the chop
Yeah,
fest
but
between those three
it
men.
was three brutes going at each other.
Yeah,
Like it was,
exactly. And sometimes that works.
and it works
Sometimes
because
it doesn't, but that time it
they're
did.
all masters of the squared circle. Like
Yeah,
they,
exactly.
yeah, they wasn't like trying to elevate one another. They were all at their peak. Put them
Yeah,
together. Let them put that show on.
create magic. Exactly that. Exactly
And
that.
yeah, it was just a beast. And like Sheamus's win though against Nakamura, like it's a perfect big win. It is a
Yeah.
big win.
It is a big win because Nakamura is a big name. I mean, I don't think WWE have done him much justice.
Not
Yes, he's had an
lately.
IC championship. He's had an NXT championship, but for me, Shinsuke, if you look at his body of work before he came to WWE, everyone was so excited about it.
Mm,
And we've seen it before where they've brought in these Japanese or Chinese wrestlers that have made a huge name for themselves and then they disappear in WWE.
yeah.
They're not so much disappear, but they just become I don't want to say obsolete. It's not the word I'm looking for, but they wither down the ladder. They start to get down the pecking order. Shinsuke seems to have kind of held that level, but I think he definitely deserves a title run while he's in WWE.
Yeah, he's still got a lot to give. Like
Yeah,
he's not petering out. He's still got a lot to give within that company, and I don't know. I can't see it being any time soon. I could probably just see him keep constantly being a mid carder and maybe
yeah.
one
I don't
winning,
want that for
one
him.
in five wins here and there.
Yeah,
But yeah, he's just. I think they're just like you say. Like you look at it, they're pushing Sheamus because he's a lot more popular.
yeah,
People love him.
yeah.
He
And what's not
we
to
want
love
him
though?
back. We want him back in that big main event. Like at the end of the day, he is a main
Yeah.
eventer.
And if you look at it now, they've got to give Sheamus some sort of storyline because the Brawling Brutes have completely dissipated. You've got Ridge Holland that's gone back down to NXT, and he's doing well there. He's
Mm.
developing really well. His character base is a lot better than it was when he was with the Brawling Brutes. Pete Dunne is obviously now New Catch Republic with Tyler Bates, which I love that tag team.
Oh yeah,
I think they're an incredible tag team. Two smaller
they
guys.
work
Tyler
well
Bates is
together.
so strong for his size.
They
They do. They have got an amazing style. And if you haven't seen it, when they first brought the WWE NXT UK Championship around, it was Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne in the final, and
mm,
it was a hell of a match. Pete Dunne ended up winning the championship, but it was such a good match, like just amazing. And I love Tyler Bates' skill set. I love his strength. He's like a mini Cesaro. If you remember, Cesaro was always renowned in WWE as the strongest man
yeah,
in WWE because he was so powerful. He didn't look it. He was. You could tell he was muscular and strong, but you would have thought someone bigger, like I don't know, John Cena or someone would have been. But the amount that he carried, and Tyler Bate is the same.
yeah,
He carries his opponents so steadily, so strongly. But as a tag team, I love them. But like I was saying, yeah, now they've all dissipated. Sheamus has got somewhere to go, but where? Where is he going to go? Because you've got Ridge down in NXT. Pete Dunne's off doing his own thing. So Brawling Brutes have split. Now what happens?
yeah.
Because
He's
he did tag with Drew for a while Brawling Brutes were still around. But
you could
now
see
obviously
it
they're going
though.
at each other. Well,
You could still, or
you could see
you
it
could see him sort of go in that route of they like friends become tagged, but and then their egos, like the British egos within them, sort of clash, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden
it
it,
comes implodes on the inside out.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like they've got tag team championship gold written all over them, but at the same
yeah,
time, at any point they are ready to blow.
yeah, exactly. Because
Which,
they are both egos.
yeah, and them two, it would work either way, going
Yeah.
solo at each other.
Speaking of speaking of tag teams, um, Awesome Truth on a winning streak at the moment.
Yep, that
Keeping
was a
it well.
really fun match to watch. To be honest with you,
Yeah, I enjoyed
it
it.
it,
I thought it was a good match.
it showed sort of a difference between like DIY being this young, fresh, athletic team versus
Yeah,
Miz and Truth, who are sort of they're older, they need to slow the match down to obviously their speed a lot more, and
yeah.
they couldn't. They were always like trying to, and then obviously getting outnumbered, and it was a real
Yeah.
back and forth like good match, and
But that's what you want, isn't it? You want some good quality wrestling. I thought it was a good match. I'm intrigued by the ending with Ciampa deciding not to shake hands. I mean, are we going to see another Ciampa heel turn? He turned on Johnny once and DIY broke up. Is that going to happen again? Or it's going to be interesting to see what
mm,
happens. I mean, I was a bit gutted at Mania. I'm happy for Awesome Truth, but my call was, and I said this to you before, I wanted Awesome Truth to win one, and I thought DIY were going to win the other set of tag teams, or I wanted DIY and New Catch Republic um, to win. So I was a bit disappointed that DIY don't. I do think they deserve it. They're a great tag team, and I'd love to see them actually in more action against New Catch Republic. I think both sets of teams are still very young. They're still athletic.
yeah,
They bring a lot to the table. That would be, I think, for me, a very exciting tag match.
definitely, and but also to this obviously before the draw anyway, the draft, sorry, that's going to happen. Raw seems to be a little light on tag, like teams
Yeah.
available to sort of openly dominate because you can't see Miz and R-Truth dominating a division. Uh,
No.
Judgment Day
But then you've got also now
are
Street
just,
Profits are number one contenders.
but they're
So
SmackDown, so it's
they are SmackDown,
SmackDown. I
but we've got the
feel
draft coming up.
true, yeah. So they, oh yeah, do they get
So
protected or
could
do
they
they
end up
come
on Raw?
across? It's
Exactly. So they could. Do they go for A Town or A Clown Down Under, as Nick Aldis called them?
see,
Um, I love that segment. We'll come on to that. I
yeah,
love that segment. I thought that was great. Um, or do they come over and potentially take it from Awesome Truth? I love Street Profits as a team. They're
oh
one of the
yeah.
better teams in the tag division.
I think they would.
Montez Ford is fantastic, and so is I can't even remember his tag team partner's name. I feel really bad, but they're both very good. But Montez Ford for me out of the two stands out the most.
They're just they're deceiving in a sense of
Yeah,
you would expect them to be more brawlers, but they're not. They're more
yeah,
athletic, high flyers. Like they love to, like you see them like constantly over the top rope, like through the ropes.
Yeah,
They're everywhere. They're springboarding
they've got that
constantly.
mix. They've got that mix of the power as well,
Yeah, I
because
think it
they
was
do
a
have
good
the
win for
slightly bigger
them.
man in there too. Yeah, definitely. And I
Although
think they deserve to be tag team champions.
AOP have got an aura around them to be a team that could like physically dominate, but I just don't think they're
Yeah.
at that level yet. They can go it if they're pushed right. They
But
can
while
be.
they've got Paul Ellery with them, again, that's a great call to have Paul Ellery,
Mm,
because like Heyman, he's a genius behind the scenes and within the wrestling business. So to have them there is a good move for them. The whole, I think the whole thing with Karrion Cross, Scarlett, and AOP for me doesn't work. I think Karrion has been, they've dropped the ball on Karrion Cross. He could be a big player in even maybe not the main card just yet. I mean, he could. I think he could, but
it could ruffle some
the
mid card feathers though.
upper mid card, like co-main event style, like Bobby like I know they did the run with Bobby Lashley, but maybe a run against the likes of Jey Uso or Gunther or someone that's up there towards the main event for sure. I think he'd be more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I feel after the segment with A Town, A Clown, assholes, whatever you want to call them.
A clown
But
under.
I just at first I was a bit dubious on them being champs. I was a bit like, what have they got?
Yeah,
What are they doing? But I, personally, as people, they are a holes, no doubt
yeah,
about it. But after that segment, they play it well, and I think it's sort of it's a clever move to have just the cocky champions.
yeah.
Like
Yeah, I mean, you have to have somewhere. I mean, look at Logan Paul as United States champion.
they're not so good.
The cockiest champion there is.
They're not the best wrestlers. They're not best technical
Yeah,
wrestlers, but having that cockiness, that they're always
the
going to get up
swagger.
to something. They're always going to
Yeah,
cheat their way through, cheat their way out, do something
yeah,
to annoy people, but yet they're going to lap it up. They're going to be gutted, and they're just going to play against the
yeah.
crowd constantly. It's the right
Exactly,
move.
and that's what you
It
want
is the
from a
right
heel
move.
team. Yeah, because it's entertainment at the end of the day. Yes, it's wrestling, and we're moving away from sports entertainment, but because you want that storyline in, and you want people to have that interaction with the wrestlers, whether you're there live in the audience or you're watching from home, you want to see that. You want to see them rile the crowd up, and you want to get with the crowd and go, I hate this guy. This guy's an an asshole,
Literally,
etc."
and
Um,
when they threw the
and they're the right
disrespect,
team to do that.
yeah, especially that disrespect towards Triple H,
Yeah,
straight up.
yeah,
That
exactly.
that was a brilliant play, like within
Yeah.
a story, within just
But
building them up to
and
disrespect and just take the
can we just
titles.
highlight how good a job Nick Aldis is doing as GM?
Yeah, that was a brilliant.
What a solid decision to bring that man in. When they brought him in, I was a bit dubious at first because I've only ever seen him wrestle.
Mm,
Because I don't know if you know how. So he's from Norwich in the UK
yeah,
originally.
I've had a
So he wrestled in in East Anglia and stuff. Wrestled at TNA. He was a gladiator in the Gladiators season over here in the reboot, and then he went over there as Brutus Magnus of Team GB, or actually, I can't remember what they were called initially, but over in there with Doug Williams, who's a legend in the business, especially in the UK, and a guy called Rob Terry. And then he started going by his real name. He won the championship at TNA, won the NWA championship. He had amazing matches with Cody Rhodes. Um, and he actually won. Cody Rhodes actually won the title from Nick Aldis. And when they brought him to WWE, I thought, oh, this is going to be amazing. He's going to get
mm,
in the ring. Surely he's going to have maybe a year contract fight and get him in the ring. But they brought him in as a GM, and so I was a bit dubious about that because I hadn't seen anything. But actually, I think he's doing a stellar job.
yeah, and he obviously his move to step out of the ring as a wrestler was because of his injuries, weren't it? He didn't want to hurt himself no more. His body
Same as
felt
Robert
its
Roode.
limit.
Look at Robert Roode. No, he was cleared, and he's turned around and said, "No, I'm just going to stay and be a producer backstage because I don't
Yeah,
want to risk it." And fair play to them. You can't.
they know their limits, and
Yeah, exactly. And you have to be able to have some longevity in life away from wrestling
mm,
if you want to have time with the family and live a long time. We all know what happen, what capabilities are there for wrestlers of getting hurt and the possibilities it's happened. You've seen loads of people break their necks and get hurt and
Yeah,
seriously injured to the point they can't wrestle again, or they've died in the ring. You have to know your limits, and fair play to them to hold your hand up and go, actually, no, I'm done. Has
yeah.
got to be so hard.
Oh, it
You
must be.
can't
It's
not
like
respect it.
same with Biggie, isn't it? Now he's put out another
Yeah,
message that
saying
he
there's no
just
change. You may not wrestle
no,
again, but
and
I'm happy and I'm healthy and I'm not in pain.
that's what he wanted. And
Again,
again,
he's now working backstage with Shawn Michaels in NXT, and I think he's amazing for that
yeah,
because he's been in the business long enough to help new talent upcoming. He's been a former world champion, multiple time tag team champion.
it's just so weird
You
not
know, in
seeing him with the
yeah,
New Day now. Like
when you hear that music, I miss Biggie, and this is going to sound really strange and kind of fetishy, but I miss Biggie being in the ring and spanking someone to the theme song of New Day Rocks and getting the crowd riled up.
literally, yeah.
He's such a character.
It's just yeah. It's like when you saw them wrestle, yeah, on Monday. It was
Yeah,
obviously they're one of the greatest tag teams. Like you can't deny
yeah,
what they've done, and they're great wrestlers within themselves individually also.
absolutely.
And now I just feel they're there personally to elevate younger tag teams that are coming up and through, and just to
But I
push.
think that's great for them.
Oh yeah, I think they're happy to do it, like
I think so, and
because they
I think so, and I
still.
think if you've been in the business that long, you need to be
Mm,
happy to do it because you know that you have to change the times. You know, eventually your time is going to come to end. So it's like you are passing that torch. And what a team to have done it. You know, if you were a wrestler or a tag team and you go, well, actually, we're working closely with the New Day. I mean, nobody's going to complain at that,
no,
surely.
and I still feel they'll be involved in like tag team championship matches for a little while, but
Yeah,
not just one-on-one tag team. It'll be more of a like four-way tag or these
yeah,
types of matches for
yeah.
a title, just to have them in there and have them
It's
push
a
the
big
match.
name. It's a big draw, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah,
If you have the likes, if you see the names DIY, New Catch Republic, which are still for some people fairly new tag teams. DIY were around in NXT. A lot of people know that, but people that are new to the brand, they're new tag teams.
and then
So then to have New Day, who everybody knows anyway,
mm,
is a big push. It's a big push for teams like that.
and at the point going to their match, you would have thought Imperium. It might be a point where Gunther's obviously
Mm,
said what he said, and he's going his own direction, and then all of a sudden, obviously New Day beat Imperium, and then they just implode, and it
Imperium
was that look.
implodes.
It was that look from Gunther. He just gave Ludwig that little look, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" Like, I thought, "Oh,
But can I just say, I
Gunther's
love
gonna turn
this.
here on both of them."
No, I love this, and I'll tell you why I love this. Vinci deserves better. I like Vinci. I
I
like
see what you
Vinci. I
mean.
want to see what he can do on his own. I want to see his character away from this. I want to see him have
Mm,
a rivalry with Ludwig, maybe 2 or 3 matches tops.
yeah,
Not excessively, maybe one week they do, one week they beat the crap out of each other backstage. So they have, I don't know, they have a one-on-one match.
yeah,
Then the next week they have another fight backstage. So then they get put into a pay-per-view match to end it, and they get, I don't know, an Extreme Rules, and there's a few. But I think as a short-term rivalry, it's great.
oh,
And I
definitely.
think that, yeah, and I think it would be amazing
It was
to see how he would develop.
it was a good little segment, and it was a brutal beatdown at the end. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't just a simple. I'll just whack a finisher on him and then give him a
I'm
little
just gonna
kick. I'm
whack
going to
you.
walk
Yeah.
off. It
No, I
was
mean, well, he ran fucking full steam around the
that
ring and jumped.
that
I mean, he
honestly,
he put a
I
lot
was
of effort
cracking
into
up though because
that.
it was if you watch it, it's the way like he's looking at the camera slyly with a little
Yeah,
smirk, and you could see he was going to. I just thought it was going to be the standard. I'm going to turn around and just
yeah,
lump someone and walk off. But no, he's done the little trick, ran all the way around, and then yeah, just circled round the ring, and then just
yeah.
it was a brutal boot to the face though. Like,
Just drop kicked that. Yeah, just drop kicked it on the while he's on the
but
steel
he's
steps.
again Ludwig's
Crazy.
another. one in that boat of he's just a cocky, arrogant a-hole,
Yeah,
and he riles people up. He gets on people's nerves, but he does it well. Because as
but
well,
that's
he's
when you
got
know they're doing the job well,
it's that
right? And
foreign effect
it's like,
within wrestling.
yeah, but it's also if you look at like Dominic Mysterio, he can't pick up a microphone without 15,000 people live booing the shit out of him, and it's because he's done an amazing job.
And fair
And
play
like, yeah, oh, he's taken it
when
on. He's taken it on the chin. He's a very young
they
guy.
go at him like that,
He
and
could have gone, yeah.
he's just he absorbs it, and he then betters the crowd to himself.
But can we just talk about the Tash,
Oh yeah, it's
Dirty Dom Dom, and his new Tash? What? I,
he's
I,
I can't understand the look because it's I don't know what way
I
it's
don't
going,
understand it.
but
He looks more and more like Eddie
I was about
Guerrero
to
every
say
day.
this. If the slight angles, all of a sudden it's like, wait,
Yeah.
it's Eddie. What?
And if you go back to the past, there was also that match between Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero as to who
The
kept
weirdest
custody of Dom.
match I've ever seen in
The
my life.
weirdest match ever. Yeah, the weirdest match ever. Custody of Dominic Mysterio. I think Eddie maybe should have won that match.
But yeah,
But
there's it's a very odd.
and of course now he's injured as well.
Yeah, funny that it's the arm.
And ironic that it's the opposing arm to Rhea, so they can still hold hands
Oh,
perfectly.
but it was quite interesting on the Dom subject of him with that little what was it 10-second segment that he's come face to face with Liv. No words. No, there was just no emotions towards. There was just a.
Wanted to bring this up
It
because there was
was
speculation I saw earlier. Liv has said to Rhea after she came down and she, this was after she first returned. Rhea was stood on the entrance ramp, and Liv came past her at the side, and she went, "I am going to take everything you love." So there is now speculation that Liv may go after stealing Dom from Rhea as well.
and he's got past of um
Turn
betraying.
him,
He's
yeah.
got
I mean,
he's
if you can turn your back on your own dad,
yeah. You'll turn your back on anyone,
exactly. So
and
if
then
new mummy
it
has more to offer,
it makes sense. It's sort of a I've betrayed my dad. Now I've betrayed my mummy. It's like it just all adds up
so
into
that then
another
also,
family affair in essence.
yeah. So it's again, I think that's he's gonna play a big part in the Liv Morgan revenge tour.
Yeah,
I mean that 10 seconds, like you said, there was no word spoken, just eye contact, nothing there, but it sets up. And the fact that no words were spoken sets up quite a big possibility because it
yeah,
leaves it open to anything.
very open, and also with what possibly looks like the Judgment Day of just they're done.
No,
I think like this
I mean Priest is quite
JD has
clearly,
literally I burst them open from the inside after this week.
yeah,
This week,
yeah. I mean the fact that he turned around to Dom in Spanish and said to him, "I don't need you, you need me,"
yeah,
and then shouted it at JD when he's like, "Well, what's he saying? What's he saying?" And then he's taken that super kick
yeah,
from Jey
he's
Uso after JD's intervened again, because this is the second time now that they've had their conversation and they've come in and attacked Jey Uso. But notice that Priest pushed him out of the way and warned him that JD was coming in. And then obviously JD's ducked and super kicked him.
yeah.
But let's not forget there is bad blood between Priest and Jey Uso because Jey Uso had the nerve to call Priest Dom Dom's bitch.
That again another perfect promo from Jay.
Jay is awesome
It
on promo.
the
Out of the two Usos, he's always been the better one, and seeing him on his own and he's in his element with this whole yeet phase, I like it. I'm enjoying it.
oh yeah, it's a crowd pleaser. He's like propelled as the better brother.
Yeah,
Like, don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with Jimmy, but
no,
Jay just
not at
has
all.
a bit more to him in that character, that charisma, that
Yep,
he's more likable out of the two.
Yeah,
But and then I think that's just obviously the way that their characters have been played. That one's a good guy, one's the bad guy.
but like we said in the teaser, after this whole, and I think this will link us into what you were saying earlier. After this new Bloodline ordeal, with Solo stepping up and saying, "Okay, well, I'm in control now." I mean, he hasn't officially said it, but let's
Like
face it, he said it in
he
so many
is,
ways.
Solo is now the tribal chief. There is no
Yeah,
doubt
of
about
course
it
he is.
whatsoever.
Of course he is.
I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, this Friday's SmackDown just summed it all up.
yeah, I think so. And the fact that that Heyman walked down with Solo,
Yeah,
yeah, and
it's.
then obviously Kevin got launched out down the ramp.
I mean, what a perfect way to announce you're the tribal chief. Well, obviously, without announcing you're the tribal chief, but going for Kevin
Yeah,
Owens, having literally the most brutal. I don't know what you're going to call him, but just having the most brutal
didn't they call
sidekick.
him MTF or something, or MFT?
MFT, I think it
Was it
was.
MFT he
But he
referred
keeps
to him
pointing
as?
to.
And
But
I
then when Heyman kept saying it, it was just Solo's just looking at his thumb. And
yeah,
but just to have Tamatonga, literally a rabid dog, by your
yeah.
side,
I mean,
that
that's what he is.
and
Yeah, exactly.
the fact, yeah, they literally just launched Kevin Owens out, literally blood pouring. Which I am now touching on that subject. Blood has now been shed on Raw and SmackDown, meaning that both brands have got rid of the PG era. It is
Yeah,
gone.
which I love, which I absolutely love.
And yeah, literally, and it made it with Kevin Owens then saying, "I'm not down and out. I'm coming back for you," and then obviously Solo just saying, "Yeah, whatever, mate. Take this to your throat." Literally just
The fact that Kevin,
bombed
I mean,
him.
I love Kevin Owens, but I was bitterly disappointed. Yes, I know they're not officially a tag team, but the charisma they've got between the two, the fact that Randy Orton didn't come out
Yeah,
really got it kind of grated me a little bit because I thought, well, actually, if anybody's there that's going to come out and help KO, it's either going to be Sammy, but let's face it, Sammy's on Raw, so that's not going to happen. So it would surely have to be Randy,
but
but
also
it didn't happen.
at the same time, obviously, there's speculation about Reigns. Just he's not coming obviously to the forefront and showing himself, but there's going to be more about what he's up to and what he's doing. So
Yeah,
is it more of a he's done something to Randy, he's got, or I don't know, but now, and at the same time, within the bloodline now, obviously you've got them to, I'm
yeah.
assuming they're going to put in a couple of more names, which have always been
Well, you got to
speculated.
think about it. WWE have signed Jacob Fatu,
So
who's Solo's brother,
does it more and more of a
younger
mean,
brother.
and now I know you say that obviously Randy didn't come out, and obviously we don't know the reasons for him not coming to Kevin's aid,
Mm,
but if there is a story there, both of them now have bad blood with the bloodline.
yeah.
So,
Well, everybody does. Let's face it. There's a lot of people that have bad blood. You've
but
got
it's a
Sami
way
Zayn.
you can put them as a tag team together now
Yeah,
because there's a story.
yeah. I think that might happen maybe after Backlash because I think obviously Randy's going up. Is Randy going against? Are they going to set up Randy for Backlash with Logan?
Yeah, it's been very quiet. Even like Logan's obviously not
Mm.
shown himself
Well, I mean, Logan
since.
dropped that promo not Friday just gone, but the Friday before, post WrestleMania. And we've not heard anything since, and we haven't
No,
seen Randy since either.
so
So
it's a bit. It's sort of like you can't push it for Backlash because there's not been any build up to it unless,
no,
well, you got,
I mean,
what's it,
I
two
think their
weeks?
plan
Is it
might
two
be,
weeks?
yeah, 2 weeks now, yeah,
Is 2 weeks enough
and we're
build
only
up?
what?
I don't know.
Mm, it depends who you've got, doesn't it? I mean,
Depends how they
maybe not.
can push it, but yeah, I can't
Yeah,
see it. Be a
no,
shame.
maybe not. But then again, I didn't think they were doing enough build up with McIntyre and Seth because they were focusing on this Seth and Cody versus The Rock and
Yeah,
Roman.
true.
But actually, the match between Seth and Drew didn't actually need that much
No,
because they had the previous where Seth had beaten him a couple of times, and Drew was cooking. And I think seeing Drew with Heyman in the background behind DIY and Awesome Truth and stuff just led those little trinkets in to think, oh, okay, what's happening here? And that was helping towards the build up of that match. But
Yeah,
yeah, maybe not. Maybe 2 weeks is not enough. Maybe they're gonna. I know Logan was saying that he wanted to come in more full time and do more. Maybe they need to bring him in next week or just before Backlash or something. What I don't want is for them to go, oh, we haven't seen Logan Paul since WrestleMania, but now he's defending his championship against Randy Orton at Backlash.
just
I
randomly
think that's
appearing
yeah. I
the
don't
week
think that's fair
before, and
to
then
people that deserve to be on the card.
they've got a match.
You know,
No, where you look at it like, for instance, Styles Knight. That
yeah.
again, I was quite surprised by that, to be honest with you, in the sense that I thought LA Knight was the guy ready to be pushed a little bit more
But
into
again,
a bigger fight.
I think they're doing with Knight what they did to Cody. I
But
think they're prolonging it to see how long it can go and then give him the push at some point.
don't get me wrong,
But I
Styles and
mean,
Cody has the potential to be another 5-star match. Like, they are
I
both.
think they should have done it as a no contest and it should have been a triple threat. I think it would have been fantastic. Knight, Cody, and AJ would have been an amazing match. They all bring something fantastic to the table. And like I said to you last week within the teaser, unpopular opinion, but Cody isn't the champion. He's not the face. He's the champion. He's great. He's going to be a great champion, but he's not the face of the
No.
company to carry it forward in
And
my mind. I want to see AJ have one more run, whether it's the Universal Championship or the undisputed WWE Championship, as they call it now. Have you noticed that they dropped the Universal?
yeah,
Um, or the World Heavyweight Championship? I'd be happy with him either one. I think if he was the World Heavyweight Champion, that would elevate that belt even more. It started off with Seth Rollins. Priest has got it. Priest is going to do a hell of a job with it. But I think someone like Styles that has pedigree behind him will just help it elevate that a little bit more.
yeah, definitely. And going back on, obviously, Cody, not champ, they had a lot of
Yeah.
comments on some of the videos regarding the Cody aspect, and
Yeah.
a lot of the people are just like, the guy looks like he's won a competition to be there. The belt does not
Yeah.
suit him. Like,
No,
a lot of people, I
it's
think, are
hard, isn't it?
realizing
Because
maybe it wasn't the right call to push a Cody.
as in-ring talent goes, he is up there.
Oh yeah, no
I
doubt.
won't take that away from him. And I think most people will agree that as a wrestler, Cody is one of the very best. But there is a certain something that you need to have as a wrestler is going to carry a company forward and be the face of said company, whether it's AEW, WWE, NJP, New Japan Pro Wrestling or IG, or whatever it is, whatever company it is. And I think Cody is just, we've had 3 years of a champion that shows up, has an aura about him that people want to boo him, but they want to watch him. Cody shows up, and yes, he's a fan favorite, and that's great for kids.
Yeah,
But you've got to remember that we're shifting away from the PG era.
but he's not.
John Cena was great for kids, but
Yeah,
people still they loved to hate him and wanted to watch him because of what he did in the ring. He had brutal matches. He was stupidly strong. He was a good fit for it.
well, he sold every
Roman
match, didn't
also.
he? All the time, no matter what
Exactly.
match it was.
Cody, I don't know what it is, but like you said, I mean, he looks like a Ken doll
He's just,
in a way.
he's not got a championship build to me like that, like a top
No,
championship build. Like, if he was to hold the Intercontinental title,
or United States
or
or something,
yeah,
yeah.
like, it would fit him. It would be the right move. It would look right
And
with
again,
him.
that might be us going, oh well, there's a stigma, and we're trying to get away from the stigma of build and stuff. But unfortunately, I think if you look at the history of the championships and you look at that stigma's entrailed in the history. I mean, the smallest WWE, which it even suited Kofi better.
Yeah,
I think it
but
even suited
Kofi
Kofi
had that
better.
mean streak though, which Cody, again, like we
Yeah,
touched on last week, Cody just doesn't have that in him. Like, you can see he tries,
he doesn't.
and you
He
can't
doesn't,
fault
and
the
that's the
guy
thing.
for
And
trying, but it just doesn't
Cena
fit
never did
him.
a heel turn. Cena never did a heel turn, but when he wanted to be brutal against his opponent,
No.
and he got serious and he was like, "You will not fight. You know, if you're going to fight me, you better step up." He meant it. He said it with tenacity. He said it with passion, and he said it because he knew that he wasn't going to back up fighting. When Kofi says, "Come at the king or don't miss," I'm like, I don't believe that you believe it.
No, he's not got that selling point of a champion.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I get he's going to sell seats. There are a lot of people that want to see Cody, and I understand it. And I was one of the people that wanted to see Cody win.
oh yeah, I was happy for
And
it.
I said this, I'm really happy that he's won. I think he's going to be a great champion. But excuse me. But like I said, when you see a company, you instantly think normally of one person. And for most people, that's Roman Reigns with WWE. You
Mm.
hear WWE, most people nowadays, or older people, Hulk Hogan, for the wrestling, you know, wrestling in general. I don't think a lot of people in future are going to go, oh yeah, WWE, Cody Rhodes.
No, and it comes back to this. We thought as well with this change, we was going to get a fighting champion week in, week out. We've not seen him fight on live TV yet.
No, not yet.
Yeah,
We haven't. This is true.
he's fought at live shows, okay,
He's been doing live shows.
but
Yeah,
if you're a champion, you need to be at the live. You need to be on live TV where where we need to see
yeah.
you. We need to see you. You want it to
But
be a fight,
the next time we're going to see him fight is Backlash, right? Or
more than
is he going to
likely.
fight between Backlash? I mean, let's face it. There's going to be a contract signing with him and AJ on Monday.
Yeah,
Or I mean, I don't, but you know, is he on SmackDown? Is he on Raw? Again, this you say about the draft and the ruling is they stay where they're put,
champs are
but we don't
protected.
know where Cody actually is at the moment because every week he's on TV on Raw and SmackDown. At least he has been since WrestleMania.
So we could see him this Friday.
We could see him this Friday. It'd be interesting to see what's going forward. Speaking of drafts and people moving forward, Dragunov just dropped the NXT Championship to
Prick.
Trick. Does that mean he's getting called up now? I hope
Surely,
so.
surely. I mean,
He's got to be.
if Bron's coming up, then why would you
Right.
drop the title
Exactly.
from Dragunov to just let him rot in NXT?
Yeah.
He's got
No. I mean,
the potential. Give him
I think
give him
he's
that
going to
little
be
run.
big. Yeah, I think he's going to be big,
Yeah,
and
ease
he
him in
is
slow.
going to
That's
hit
fine.
the ground running.
But
I think so, but again, I think if you put him against the likes of I don't know,
well, he come up against Nakamura straight away, didn't he? And put on a great
yeah, and he
show.
beat Nakamura. Maybe put him against Ricochet, someone of that
Yeah.
likes that, you know, again an upper mid card or you know mid card, and then start stepping him up. Maybe put him in against LA Knight, have him lose, but a hell of a match, and then have him win against someone the next week that kind of isn't quite as big, but is still up there. You know, he could do great things. I think he's going to be a great talent,
Yeah,
but it's
he's
also going to be interesting because of the ties. And I don't know if you've played My Rise on 2K24.
no, not
So
yet.
on My Rise on 2K24, the story, I don't want to spoil it too much, but part of the story is that you have to face as the WWE when you win the WWE Championship, you go after Gunter, and Gunter sends out his cronies Ludwig and Vinci, and you have to beat them to get to Gunter. But then he brings in a surprise for us of Imperium, a fourth member, and it's Dragunov.
So, or could you see Dragunov then replacing Vinci for now?
Or could you see Vinci teaming up with Dragunov?
Again, another.
Does he call him in as an old friend? Is there a link there that we don't know? And they're like, okay, we can touch on this because you've got the Imperium, you've got Austria, Germany, and Russia, and all this. And can we link them kind of together with that international side of things?
Yes, that's
But
yeah,
either way, if they play it right with Dragunov, he is going to be huge.
yeah, definitely. And I feel that some of it needs a bit more bigger presence within the mid card area at the moment
Yeah,
because when you look at it, there's not there's quite a lot of mid carders there. Don't get me wrong, but there's not
yeah,
the big fight mid carders, and they're trying to
no,
push certain people, i.e., Bronson Reed, which I just don't get
yeah.
it.
I don't know how I feel about that.
That attack on
I'm
Sammy was
not
a bit
sure.
random. It was just. because Sammy's got the whole rivalry and push with Chad Gable. Why has Bronson all of a
Yeah,
sudden
what's
just
happening with that now as
thrown
well?
himself?
I don't know. Does he think that is he pissed because Bronson was the last person Sammy beat to get to Gunter? Does it stem back to that? Because obviously the gauntlet match, Sammy survived, and Bronson was the last person. He obviously managed to powerbomb him off the middle, off the second rope, and get that win.
Yeah, just
So is it that? Is it stemming from that?
I
But
don't
I'm
see.
interested. Speaking of Gable and rivalries, I'll go on to that in a moment. But go on.
But yeah, I don't see what the big thing about Bronson really is at the moment. Like he's not done enough to
Yeah,
sell anything to me to say, oh yeah, he definitely deserves to be in there.
yeah,
I think they've just tried to push
exactly
him a
that.
bit too quickly, and I think like
And
the likes of
I
myself,
think this
it's
is the
just
thing. It's
irritating.
like you said. The whole. I think there's two divisions that. Well, actually, ultimately, there's three divisions that are really lacking something big and special right now. And it is there, especially the mid card. That there is something bigger. There is somebody big and special right there. They just haven't found who it is. But the mid card area and the women's and the men's tag divisions are all lacking something really special to elevate it. I will say one thing, I do love the new WWE Tag Team Championships. I love the
Oh
fact that
yeah,
they've gone back to the like 1998 kind of era of the tag team gold, which I love that
best
design
out of the
anyway. It's one
bunch
of my
so far,
favorites.
personally,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
of new
absolutely.
of new titles.
Don't like the World Tag Team Champions. Yeah, I don't like the World Tag Team
Nah,
Champions. I mean, I do prefer them over the silver ones that they had. But yeah, they're seriously lacking. Um, and the talent is there. It's just a case of where are they going to go with it. I mean,
well yeah, especially
you know, the roster's so crowded anyway with some amazing talent. It's a case of who do you pick? I mean, does Bron Breakker come in and then he goes for Intercontinental or United States Championship and try to elevate the championships with a big man like him? Does Bronson Reed go for something like that? Do you know? It's hard to say because my opinion might differ from yours and anybody else that's listening. I would love to see Sheamus take on the IC Championship and elevate that for a bit longer. It makes him a Grand Slam champion. Definitely deserves it. Um, and him carry that maybe for not as long as Gunter, but maybe a year. 300 odd days or something like that,
yeah.
defending it. Every couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, it'd be nice to see him obviously push and win that, and then it's like,
Yeah,
how long does Sammy hold that belt for? Because they've not come to clash yet, so
no.
how long is it? Is it even before they clash? Like the Sheamus might even skip a
Or
beat
are they
and
going to
be
set it
straight in
up
the
that
heavyweight
Chad
picture.
actually ends up holding the title? Are they going to take it that Chad is, he's the teacher. He's helped Sammy get that title, and is it now a case of, well, I'm pissed off because you did what I couldn't do, and it was only because of me that you did it in the first place. So now I'm going to show you who the real man
Well,
is.
his segment,
It was very conflicting. Yeah, his segment was very conflicting
it was a weird one.
because he, oh, I'm training, like he said
A
to
bunch of
Tozawa, you're pathetic.
losers. You're all
Maxine, you are the biggest disappointment of them all. No, he said that you're a disappointment. Then he said to Otis, you are the biggest disappointment of them all.
which I thought
But you're all going to help me win my championship, and we're going to do it together.
it had a lot of Kurt Angle vibe around it though. That promo, it was very
I
Kurt
love
Angle.
that, and I've always said Chad can do that. And you don't want to replace someone, you don't want to mimic someone too
No,
much. But Chad has that wrestling pedigree. He's worked with Kurt Angle before, because obviously Kurt Angle had that storyline where Jason Jordan was his illegitimate son,
yeah.
and Jason Jordan was obviously former tag team partner with Chad Gable. Um, so it kind of works in, but I think Gable's going to make a really good heel. Actually,
Oh
I think
yeah,
he's going to play that part very well.
I think yeah, definitely he will for that. And like his segment with it, he doesn't have to say too much on the mic. He's not got to be that
Mm,
mic promo guy all the time. But his segment,
no,
it made, like you say, it was conflicting, but at the same time, it made sense for him to blame other people. He's not going to
yeah,
blame
of
himself. It's other
course he's not.
people, and he's got
Yeah,
scapegoats at the ready.
yeah,
And yeah, I just feel sorry for Otis though. He's gone from Mr. Money
Well,
in the
like,
Bank to being just a, oh, I don't even know what you want to call him, but just literally, yeah,
he's
he's
a
just a
showcase,
scapegoat
isn't
on
he?
it, and he's just,
He is. He's another bum to fill a seat.
which is it's gutting because you gave him that big push, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah, but why did they give him that big push? The reason they give him that big push, and it's no offense to him, I mean, respectfully, it
but he
was
fell
Mandy
quickly
Rose.
though. He fell very
It did fall
quickly.
quickly, but he had Mandy Rose at his side. They had that love angle where he caught Mandy Rose outside the ring and she eyed him up, and they were kind of boyfriend and girlfriend for a little while. So he was pushed in the spotlight because Mandy was a big name in the women's division. She then went back to NXT, and he kind of got dropped. And then obviously she was released because she does adult content. WWE didn't want to see that happen because they didn't want to be associated with that, so they let her go. And she was like, "Well, I make more money doing this. Why would I do
Mm.
this?" Fair enough, each their own. Um, but yeah, I feel bad for him. I feel
But
bad for him too because
yeah, he's got that bit about him now to be the like the door for Chad in the sense of
yeah,
no one's getting through me except Chad. You can walk straight past. Like
yeah,
I'll his build up to
he's his
saying
henchman, isn't
I'll
he?
do what you
Yeah,
want was a sort of right. He's going to help him, and then it looks like he could be the one that could just ruin everything for him instantly because
yeah,
he made
potentially.
Otis say it over everyone. Obviously, Otis was probably the only one that he could really say it to anyway, but Otis will be the same one that could probably make everything fall apart. And then,
Yeah, he could be the undoing
but
of it
yeah,
all. Absolutely.
Chad's definitely got it in his locker to push right up to the upper mid card with ease. Like
Yeah,
he's got it all there.
yeah, he could be a great intercontinental champion. He really could be. And there's a lot of people that could be, and that's what I mean. The mid card is so stacked, but at the same time, it's so lackluster at the moment because we haven't found that person. Now Gunter
Mm.
has stepped away from the IC Championship. He hasn't said anything about getting a rematch.
No, which
That's,
is
I mean, that's
odd.
not been mentioned at all.
No, he just
He's not mentioned about, well, I'm coming for Sammy. He's just said, thank you, Sammy, because now I can go on to bigger and better things. And actually, I declare myself in King of the Ring.
but and then a lot of them are
I kick.
like the title wise though, because I don't. It's a bit of no one's going to have a rematch in anything because if you look at the women's like Bailey women's champion, Io Sky makes no sense to have a rematch whatsoever now.
No, she doesn't. She doesn't
Like
make any sense to have a rematch.
Tiff, that ending. I was
Oh,
watching along, and I was just like, do you know what would be funny if Tiff just randomly appears and ruins this match, and then all of a sudden,
and
out of nowhere, boom, literally
there she goes.
just takes on. I mean, it's a fun little ruff of the feathers, and it's sort of it it's a
But
push
again, I don't.
of
The need.
because Jade. It looks like Jade Cargill and Bianca are going for the tag team
Bianca
titles.
Belair.
I mean, you don't come out when they start talking about tag titles and who are you going to face the Kabuki Warriors,
Mm.
and then all of a sudden them to appear next to them in the boxes.
Yeah, they're obviously pushing me. They want Jade to get gold. It makes sense that she goes with a former champion that has
Tag
got some
gold,
good standing.
it's a good one to start with,
Yeah,
and you can
exactly.
then see
It's
what she's
exactly.
like with a belt. Has she got
Yeah.
has she got that
Well, I mean,
main event woman in
she
her?
was undefeated at AEW, right? She held their TBS championship for a long time.
But obviously, this is no.
But this is
I'm not an
different now.
AEW hater. It's just it's a different kettle of fish in the WWE world than it is in AEW
I'm
world.
not an AEW hater, but when you compare the two,
It,
AEW is like playing with a Tonka toy, and WWE is like an Xbox Series X.
you said it, not me.
And even Goldberg has come out, and yes, I know there's a lot of controversy about Goldberg. There's going to be people in
Well,
comments and all
this
sorts that
guy.
say about this. there's a lot of people. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people like, oh, this guy. But even Goldberg said, I won't go and work for them because it's just a gimmick. It's really not working properly over there.
No, I think, yeah, they just. I obviously don't want to go on it too long about it, but they just sort of.
Hmm.
I think they need to sort of like just take a step back, find themselves, and then
Yeah.
understand where they are.
It's going to end up, if not, it's going to end up the way it did with Ted Turner and WCW.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to the next without going on about them so much. Yeah, I completely agree. It makes no sense at the moment for there to be a rematch with EO.
No.
Seth Rollins, I can see when he comes back, he'll be put in the title picture. But
Oh yeah,
again, why
but
wouldn't he be?
he's your main guy. He's
Yeah.
the face of Raw. Like you can't let him come
But
back and
again,
then all of a
he
sudden drop him.
but out of the two, Cody, if there was going to be either a toss up between the two, Cody should be World Heavyweight Champion and Seth Rollins should be the undisputed WWE Champion because he would be able to be the face of the company
Yeah.
and carry it. In my mind, he is the better choice of the two for that. Like I said, Cody is going to be a great champion. He's great in the ring. He's got great charisma. People love him, but people love Seth Rollins.
Oh,
And there's a
100%.
difference between
He's got
loving Cody Rhodes and loving Seth Rollins. He's
Seth's got
Monday Night Rollins.
everything about him though.
Exactly.
You love him. He's Marmite. You can love him. You can hate him.
Yeah,
Like, but at the end of the day, he goes on everything. You can put him in. You can
exactly.
put him
I don't think
anywhere.
I could. I don't think I could have said it any better.
He's just like, yeah. I just can't wait for him to come back. To be honest with you,
Yeah,
but
yeah. I
that's a
mean, he
while
deserves the
down.
time off.
That's a while away. It's sort of like,
But when he comes back, the pop when he comes back, I can already envision it now. It's going to be like reminiscent of 2002 return Triple H when he returns from his injury. Even Triple H said, "I never expected a pop like
or
that,"
what is
and I
it?
think still to this day, it's one of the
Cena at
biggest pops you will ever see.
Cena at the Rumble. When is it?
Cena at the Royal
2008.
Rumble, number 30. Yeah, when he comes back, number
Yeah,
30,
that.
come back after his broken neck.
So you've got, yeah. He's just. I think the same will happen for Reigns as well. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think so because people are already saying we want Roman back, not just because they like Roman anyway, but now Solo is turning. People want to see what's going to happen. It's
Yeah,
making us want Roman back because they're like, well, hold on, Reigns is trying to do this, and he's trying to get healthy and do whatever he's doing away from the scenes, but Solo is trying to decimate everything that the
that Roman built.
bloodline have built, and he's trying, he's trying to take it and refound, he's trying to re-secure the foundation, but in his way. So what's that interaction going to be like between the one that we know as the tribal chief and the person that is, I suppose, without saying it officially, he is the self-proclaimed tribal chief. And like
Yeah.
you said, there's no way that he's not saying it. I
No.
mean, like when Heyman said, "Call Roman rep," and then he stole the phone and just stamped on the phone.
That's great. I love it when Heyman done that. What was it when he done it, didn't he? He was like, call Roman Reigns, call The Rock. Like he had two
Yeah,
phones
call
separated.
the Rock. Yeah, one with a bloodline case, one with a Brahma Bull case. Just because you can't have one phone to call two people, you can have a three-way conversation on one phone,
Yeah,
right?
but it's Paul Heyman. Come on.
Exactly, it is Paul
But
Heyman.
it's yeah, it was like Solo's line, wasn't it? It was like I had to lose a brother to gain a brother.
Yeah,
So he will do anything to turn on family if it means to bring in more family.
someone else that
Like
is going to benefit him. Yeah,
and
I mean, and it makes sense because he turned on Jay as well, and he said the same thing when they kicked Jay out. I love you, you're my brother, but this has to happen, so to speak.
and what is it about these Samoans? But I'm gonna like I don't know if anyone's gonna agree, but Solo on the mic is great. For this guy that just
Oh, he's
stood,
much better than I thought he would
this
have been.
guy that
Yeah,
just stood in the background and sort of just had no
laughed,
expression about
laughed
him,
at Sami Zayn,
and then
or just stood there, just like stone faced killer.
Friday's segment with him on the mic, the way that obviously like the crowd were doing what they do to Dom, boo boo, he
Yeah, yeah.
could, and then all of a sudden he just shoot authority, like he just
Mm,
demanded you will listen to him, and you just saw the crowd volume just drop
yeah.
as if to say, okay, this guy has got something about
I'm going
him.
to pay attention.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I love the fact that he showed up in a blazer and Heyman was like, looking sharp, Solo.
yeah,
And you knew then
mm,
that there was a turn
yeah.
because he's not walking out in his tank top.
No,
Although he still had his thumb taped and his wrist wrapped. He's
yeah,
wearing a suit.
but
You could tell that he was meaning a little bit more business and that he's stepping himself
well,
up.
yeah, he
He
was
finds
trying to
me
show
Kevin
authority
Owens.
to people around him, weren't he? That
Yeah,
I'm not just a guy that stands in the back with my thumb out all the time.
yeah. I'm not just the enforcer that I've been known as for 2 years while
Yeah,
I've been in the Bloodline
I'm
since I came
stepping
to the
up,
main roster.
and this is now my bloodline.
Yeah.
Not Roman's,
But
not The
again,
Rock's. This is my
and
bloodline.
everybody's been saying it though. If losses have consequences, why is there no consequences for Solo up to this point? Because he hasn't won since he beat
What was he
Cena.
like? Was it Owen? Was it Owen 32 or
Oh, and
something?
8 or something like that. I don't know that. I'll tell you what. I'm going to Google it
He
right now.
lost. Well, yeah, he's lost a tremendous amount of
Yeah,
matches.
exactly. So I'm intrigued as to why there was. I mean, I guess he's taken it upon himself and it works. But everybody said the same thing. Everybody's been like, "Well, why is there no come up? Why is there no consequence for Solo then?"
But then who's going to step up to him? That's the other thing. It's sort of
Well, it's got to be Roman, hasn't
Jimmy
it?
was never going to
It has
step
to
up
be
to him.
Roman.
Jay's
So
off doing his own thing. Tamatonga
yeah.
is happy just to be a rabid pit bull. Paul Heyman's not going to do anything. He's not going to go and choke slam Solo, is he?
No, not at all. Not at all. So his win percentage is 44%. So he's 56% losses. So, you know,
Yeah,
but there you go.
but it is who's going to step in and take on Solo at this point.
I mean,
No one.
it makes sense that it makes sense that it was going to be Solo to step up from Roman Reigns leaving. It was never going to be Jimmy. He's not that person. It was
And
never going to be Jay. He's not that
obviously
person.
Roman had already said next in line is Solo.
Yeah,
So it was
exactly. So
already
we
the
knew it
seed
was
was
going to
already
happen at some
planted,
point. Yeah,
and what a
maybe people just
perfect
forgot about the seeds.
what a perfect way to start to do it in this new era,
Yeah,
allowing
exactly.
no holds barred to everything. The fact that obviously he went straight for Kevin and busted him wide open and then just brutalized
Why
him.
wouldn't you? Kevin is a big name. He's still a main player. He's a former WWE champion, former World Tag Team champion. He took the tag titles away from the Bloodline. He's had a rift with the Bloodline. He's beaten Solo. He came after Roman Reigns. He joined Sami Zayn to come after the Blood. There's a huge backlog there.
Yeah.
But again, there's a lot of people that could step up and do the same. Like Randy Orton, obviously, could come in. Cody is possible. Seth Rollins. I really wish, and I was gutted. And apparently, Tony Khan had commented on this saying there was no approach. But I would have loved when the Shield music came on during Cody's match, or
Who
or
who didn't think what you're about to say though? Who did not
John
think
Moxley.
that he was going to appear? Let's
Could you
be honest.
imagine? Just imagine if he had. If it wasn't Seth Rollins and John Moxley appeared, I don't think you'd ever see a bigger pop, in all honesty, because that man is an aura to himself wherever he goes. And I think WWE did him wrong. I think they should have let him
Again
be John
though,
Moxley and be the character that he is
it
now.
was Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing. It's you got a lot of these superstars that have gone, and it was all down to one man. But now
A
all of
lot
a
of it was, yeah,
sudden,
you're not right.
now
You're
all
not
of a
wrong at
sudden, you're
all.
seeing a lot of them. They want to come back now. They've
Yeah.
seen what's happening. They've
Yeah.
seen how it's going. They want to be part of it. Even
And why
some of
wouldn't
the
you though?
older
Why
guys
wouldn't you want to be a part of it?
like RVD's put his hat back in the ring, saying he'd love to return now.
Yeah.
So
Exactly,
it's
but he's over at AEW at the moment. I mean, to be
yeah,
fair, he's looking old in the face, but he still looks good in the
but if
ring. I'll
he's
give him that.
saying he wants to,
Yeah, yeah.
you're contracted,
And he's the
but
most
all of a
chill person in
sudden,
wrestling. he's constantly living on cannabis. He's like the most chill person in wrestling. If he's saying that it was bad that he had to leave and now he wants to come back, that's saying something about the atmosphere that Vince brought into the company.
Yeah, the way he was just pushing it down, it was all money, money, money. That's all he cared about. He didn't
Yeah.
care what
Well,
they were doing.
no,
Tried to
I don't think so.
sell it off to Saudi Arabia. So
But yeah, could you imagine how that would have gone? Because
exactly.
when that news speculated, and I saw all over social media, I will never tune into this product again. Because it just wouldn't. I mean, if you look at Saudi Arabia, since they've been doing shows in Saudi Arabia, it was, I don't know how true it was, but it was speculated that the Saudis turned around to Vince and said, "We want Yokozuna at the show," and they were like, "Dude, you know he's dead." And they said, "Okay, well, we want Yokozuna at the show," and they were like, "He's dead," and we'll get someone then, get someone exactly who looks like. We want Goldberg at the show. We want Goldberg to win a championship against Bray Wyatt. Why would that make sense? Why
Yeah,
would you have Goldberg defeat one of the best wrestlers that there is? Because it pleased the people that were paying you some money.
yeah. It just that they were they would have killed it off there and then.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, and I think so, and I think that they just would have taken it in a direction that would have been completely the wrong direction. I don't think Triple H would be in the position that he is now, which thank God
no,
he is, because he's doing a fantastic job. Shawn Michaels is killing it over at NXT, and you look at the talent oozing out of NXT at the moment with the likes of Bron Breakker, Dragunov, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, all of these people that are just hitting the spot so sweetly over there. And even Baron Corbin is enjoying wrestling again. And yes, he's on a lower stage with NXT, but he's
yeah. But
enjoying
some
being
people
in the ring and he's working hard.
find it more of their. It's got more of an indie feel to it though, hasn't it? NXT, the
Yeah,
way it's set up.
exactly. And Shayna Baszler's just gone back down there as
Obviously,
well. So that's
Natalia,
going to be interesting to see what happens.
she's
Yeah, Natalia.
like these. They just enjoy it more.
Yeah,
You're more out of the limelight, so they
I think
can.
so. But also with Natalia is a big advocate for help in the future. So I think they've taken her down there because she is like Undertaker was to the men's locker room, where he
Mhm.
was the guardian of the men's locker room. She's very much the guardian of the women's locker room because she has been there the longest. She holds like 9 or 10, maybe more world records for all of her matches and stuff in WWE, and the most amount of minutes wrestled in Royal Rumbles and shit like that. Um, so for her to go down there, I mean, she trains Moose, from TNA, the World Heavyweight Champion. She trains Liv Morgan. Her husband still wrestles and trains. He'll never come back and wrestle professionally after his accident because he broke his neck. But Tyson Kidd, they still train people to this day. They train Montez Ford's partner from the Street Profits. They do a hell of a job with these wrestlers. So she's got a huge amount of pedigree, and not to mention that she's from one of the most dominant families and the most famous families in the history of wrestling, and being taught by her granddad, Stu Hart, in the Hart Dungeon. I mean, what the hell?
So yeah,
You
it's
don't get much better than that in the sense of who you can have to
experience on
elevate
that
people.
is just
Yeah,
unreal for what you
absolutely.
can. You've got to listen to every word that
Yeah,
you're told because it's not like
exactly
they've
that.
just walked in off the street and telling you to do something. They know what they're
Yeah.
talking about.
I mean, this is someone that's been around wrestling since they could talk. And they've been there and they've seen it all, they've done it all. You can't get better than that. And I would love to see that when she does eventually retire in turn, I would love to see her just with WWE for the next 20 years doing backstage stuff and working with the women's division, because she could help elevate that
Yeah,
massively. So
100%. Like, yeah, like you say, there's so much talent there, and obviously you can't push it all at once. But
yeah,
I think you're pushing the right people at the right time currently.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
debatable.
we need to see. Yeah,
Debatable.
uh,
I get Logan Paul. I get the push with Logan Paul. Like I said to you before, he brings a lot of eyes to the product that wouldn't have necessarily been watching WWE, but purely because they watch him and they watch KSI, they realise, oh, Logan's with Prime. Prime is now sponsoring WWE, which is massive for the Prime company. As a drink, that's a huge thing.
mhm.
Um,
Something they didn't even
but I
think
would love
would
to see,
sell 10 bottles.
yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And now they've sold over 1 billion.
You've got bottles being sold for
And
God knows how much.
well, yeah, look at that Wakey Wines in Birmingham, whatever they're called. They were selling them for like 100 quid a bottle.
Still going for it. It's
Just
still doing it.
bloody extortionate.
But yeah, it's just
Absolute extortion. But yeah, and fair play to him for stepping into the wrestling world, and he's done a great job. But I would love to see a full timer have the United States Championship, because for me, especially the Intercontinental Championship and the United States Championship, they're very much based on open challenges. That's what the United States Championship was back in WCW as well, was open challenges. Who's going to come down and try and kick my ass this week?
yeah.
And I'm gonna defend it. And unfortunately, Logan isn't on that schedule to be able to do that. Logan and Randy Orton, I like the feud. I think it could be good. Randy Orton, again, another great person to elevate Logan Paul and help him out. Randy doesn't make sense to me as the United States champion. It needs to be somebody, again, it's a bit contradictory to all this body stuff, but somebody of a smaller stature, but not just physically, but also in a smaller stature as a superstar. Randy is still, in my mind, he's up there. He still needs title run. I know he's in his 40s now, but he needs that 15th title run. And I want to see that happen.
Yeah, he's got one last
Yeah,
push in that locker room for
yeah,
himself. The same with,
absolutely.
like I say, AJ's obviously got the title shot now, but this is
Yeah,
probably his last shot.
but we know what's going to happen.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
Cody's going to retain. It makes for a good match. You've got two great in-ring talents that have had matches, not well, they haven't had matches together, but they're both one of only four people to hold the NWA Championship and the WWE Championship. AJ is a former IGW. I can't even remember, but he's one of only three people to hold the IGWP Championship, and stuff like that as well, with Brock Lesnar and I think now John Moxley. Um, it's going to be a good match. AJ brings everything to the table, as does Cody.
hmm.
AJ is on a heel turn at the moment, which is fantastic because he's going to take his frustrations out against LA Knight when he loses. I would imagine.
I personally think though that LA Knight's still going to have something to say in that title match, in the sense of he might even just interfere
He's
with
going to
it,
cost. I think he's going to cost AJ. He's going to go, okay, right, okay.
take
On my big
turn the
stage,
tables.
you came across halfway across the world to Australia to turn me into a pancake on the stage at the Elimination Chamber and send me home and send Drew through. I ain't letting you get away with it at Backlash.
Yeah.
Your ass is mine, and I'm going to stop you from getting that
So
championship,
yeah,
of course.
there's
And there's a great feud between LA Knight. I love the chemistry between LA Knight and
it's got a
AJ Styles. They're doing a
very
great job together.
it's got a massive personal feel to it.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
and
not just
exactly
a
that.
gimmicky feud. It's
No,
like they really go for each other.
and again, that's what happens when you give creative control to two creative people that are on the same wavelength and go, actually, yeah, okay, you're the bad guy, I'm the good guy. But also let me throw some bad in there. I'm going to stalk you at your house and beat you up on your driveway. But people are going to back me for doing it because you traveled halfway across the world to kick my ass.
Mm.
So why would I not do that shit? And it's great, and it gives me the nostalgic feel of watching Raw back in the day when you see Triple H go and attack Randy Orton at his house and
Yeah,
vice
or
versa, and I love it. Or
Edge
like
goes to Cena's house.
when Edge beat up John Cena Senior, yeah,
Like
and I loved that. That was the best time in wrestling for me as a fan. Wrestling hasn't been like that for a long
no,
time, and
it's the feuds that happen outside of the arena, like
yeah,
they make it personal, but
exactly,
of where they go to, like obviously,
yeah.
like when you've got Stone Cold beating up Booker T in a off
In
license,
a supermarket, and he's pouring milk all over him and throwing him into a watermelon stand and shit. That is brilliant,
like, or you've
absolutely
got
brilliant.
Rock and Stone Cold on the bridge, or Edge and Cena out
Yeah,
by the bay, like.
yeah,
There
exactly
was
that.
personal feels to them that they would go to
Yeah,
any depths, any limits to find that guy and just try and take him down.
that's exactly right, and that's what I loved about it. I love that, and I love the fact that they're doing it again, and the fact that Triple H was at his peak in that era, and he wants to bring some of that back, I'm all for it as a wrestling fan in general, not just a WWE fan, but as a wrestling fan.
Mm.
That because that's what WCW was doing as well. WCW, and that's why Monday Night Wars happened, because Eric Bischoff was pushing the limits over at WCW, and WWE were being pushed to the limits as well. But now you've got the creative mind of Triple H that's been through that as a wrestler, seen it from the other side, and is like, okay, we can do this again, but we can make it with a modern feel, and we can make it feel personal. We can make these people want to connect with LA Knight and understand why he's pissed and gone to AJ's house, and why AJ's flying halfway around the world, because you could see that implosion
Yeah.
when they did the 6-man tag with Randy, LA Knight, and AJ. You could see that, and AJ obviously attacked LA Knight a couple of times. I didn't think it was going to be this good as a feud, and I love the chemistry that they've both brought
No, yeah,
together.
but AJ's grown a lot since taking that time out, in the sense of he's come back. He's like obviously built himself up a bit more.
Yeah,
He's obviously worked on becoming the heel, because he's playing it perfectly. And obviously
yeah,
LA Knight, again, another guy on the mic that's just cocky. He's got everything about him, but
yeah.
he's got the switch, and the crowd just love it. Like we love it up. We with him with when he's like,
We
yeah,
do.
yeah, like you just want to join
With
in
just
with
that
him.
one word,
You don't
just
care.
going back to Austin with, what?
Literally, it's like they say, the cockiness about him, like the fact that, like going back to when Roman was walking out, and then he just come out with his music when Roman was about to
Yeah,
hold the title, and from then it's just like, yeah, this guy, he,
yeah, yeah,
like he just does not care. He does not
no.
give a shit about anyone. It's him, him, him.
He's there for himself,
He's
clearly. Yeah,
he's
exactly.
he's all
But
about me.
again, that's why we love it.
But
That's why we love it, because of the stuff like interrupting the champion's entrance and stuff like that. That's
that's a
why people love it.
that's
That's why
big ball
Cody
move. That
got over so well. Yeah,
you've got to have big
and it's a
balls to
big
do
move. It's like you
this.
say. Yeah, exactly. You got balls of steel. If you're coming out and disrespecting the champion like that, then people want to know. Well, hold on a minute. What's this guy got to say? Because he's coming out like this. I
And
want to
calling
stick around
himself
for this.
the head of the table when they're sitting at the
Yeah,
table, like in front of the tribal chief.
yeah,
The fact that you're not letting the champ, the man that owns the brand, say a word,
yeah.
and you're just pegging him back
It's
constantly.
so well played. It's so well played. It really is, and I love LA Knight. I really liked him as Eli Drake actually in TNA, and then when they brought him over as LA Knight, I was like, okay, how are they going to play this?
It's taking its
Obviously, didn't
time.
go to plan at first. Put him in with Maxine Dupree for the male model routine, which was just, oh my god, such such a diabolical and
Yeah.
poorly thought out thing. Why did that exist? It was just, again, it was like, okay, we've
But
got
if you
this
look
guy,
through
we
the
don't know what to
eras,
do with him.
had that sort of, they've always had that type of tag team, haven't they?
Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. But I'm so glad that he was like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to be LA Knight, and I want to
Mm.
switch it up, and I want to be myself, and
Yeah.
I want to
There's
start doing this. I'm not happy.
no, there's some people where you, like wrestlers, you've just got to let them just be themselves. Don't give them a
Yeah,
character. Let them personally be themselves,
exactly.
because
And I think if you look at wrestlers that have said the same thing, that they've actually done it themselves. Rhea Ripley was the same. She said, when I first came in, I thought they wanted me to be a certain way,
mm,
and then I wanted to be myself. My hair was blonde and I had a clean cut image, and now look at me. I'm covered in tattoos. I've got black hair. I wear black lipstick. I'm in people's faces. Yeah, and look at her, best woman in the division by far.
100%. And yeah, LA Knight's just that other guy. You just let him play himself. Like,
Yeah,
don't give him a character. Just give him his own. Just give him a mic and let him just
yeah,
play
and
himself
that's
day
it. And
by
some
day.
people need that. Some people need that. John Cena was always given that. He was never given a script. A lot of wrestlers are given a script by writers in the back. John Cena was never given that. They were like, there you go, there's the microphone. You do what you do best. We know what you're capable of.
Mm.
Same as The Rock. And sometimes you need to do that. Sometimes you just need to say, right, okay, don't swear, don't do this, but go out and do your shit.
Yeah, and it works on the other foot, like the other, like the shoe on the other foot, where it's like some of them need a character, some of them need to
Yeah,
follow a script, but they'll give
some
you
of them. Yeah, exactly.
110% by doing that. Like,
Yeah,
do you like as an owner, like with Triple H, you've just got to know who's got to do who's going to do what.
yeah. But I think Triple H knows, and I think that's why they've kept Triple H in as the creative content officer, because he knows them. He's
Yeah,
been there for years. He knows the older guys. He's seen the younger guys come up. He's mentored them while he was building up NXT. You know, he mentored them all, and now he's taken over on a much larger scale. There's no reason that they wouldn't keep. I mean, if you would be a fool not to keep Triple H in,
well,
because Triple H had gone. If they, I think if he would have started his own company, surely
yeah.
him and Stephanie and Nick Khan would have gone, okay, we'll start our own smaller company. But we're going to give you a run for your money, and they fucking would have done as well, I think.
Well, I think they would have
But
they probably would. Yeah, they would have took over WWE easily. It would have been like
yeah, I think
WWE
so.
would have been WCW,
Yeah,
where all of
in
a sudden
time,
it's
possibly,
we're going to absorb
especially
you,
if Vince Mac had stayed.
or you're done.
Yeah,
Like either
it's
or.
like when Mr. Ass said at the Hall of Fame ceremony, "I don't work here. Vince can't fire me." And Triple H went, "He'll buy that pissant company just so we can fire you again."
Literally, it's just yeah. Like you say though,
That's crazy.
if you just look for like Triple H has always been there. Like he's never
Yeah.
been anywhere else. It,
He started off he was in WCW briefly, and I remember seeing his first. I don't know if it was his first televised match, but I remember seeing him fight the Ultimate Warrior, and he came out and he was very posh spoken. He had a very
yeah.
majestic
We had that.
aura about him. He was his entrance music was like classical
He was
piano
very
and
yeah.
stuff.
He was like a king though, wasn't he? He was like that old.
He was a snob. He had his blonde hair in a ponytail. He was this massive jacked physique with it was almost like a Gangrel shirt, a white shirt with nice frilly
Yeah,
cuffs on,
but yeah, he was.
and his first fight that I ever saw him wrestling was the Ultimate Warrior. And the moment that you see him in that ring, you're like, this guy has got some potential for sure.
And then yeah, obviously he went on to greater things. Like
Went on to
everything
be
he
one of the best of all time.
everything he done though was just perfect. Like
Yeah,
no matter what it is, like the feuds that he brought on, the feuds he was involved with, like it didn't always have to be for a belt. The belt was irrelevant.
yeah.
It was just me
Or
versus you.
even just the skits with DX, like when DX invaded WCW, or Little People Caught,
But
with
he could flip a
Hornswoggle and stuff like that.
switch into what
Yeah,
personality he had to do.
exactly.
Like again, like the later DX segments with him and HBK, the fact that
Yeah,
they were just playing gimmicks week in, week out, it didn't bother him. He'd done it perfectly.
yeah, he
And then,
did,
but
and
at
he
the same
loved it.
time,
He clearly
they were
enjoyed it.
wrestling. Like they were
Yeah,
doing stupid skits that were hilarious to every point. I mean, I think the funniest one was the one where with Triple H, with HBK super kicking everyone, like switching music to him,
I knew you were going to
switching
say
music,
that.
switching.
I knew you were going to say that.
Like they just,
It's one of the
but you
best
saw,
segments.
but like obviously they had to cut it at the point they did because Triple H broke character, didn't he? At
Yeah,
that
he
point,
did. Yeah, yeah.
I
And there
think
was so
anyone
much
would have.
kayfabe back then that you weren't allowed to be seen to break character.
No,
It was that unheard of that even a few years ago, and I'm only talking what 5-6 years ago, that Roman Reigns went up to Undertaker at the hotel,
mm,
and he was like, "How you doing, man?" And Undertaker was like, "What are you doing? You can't be seen talking to me, kayfabe, dude." You know, he was known as that professional everywhere he went. It was for 30 odd years that he
yeah,
worked for WWF and WWE. He kept that persona.
but yeah, it
And
was
I mean, kayfabe didn't get broken until they had that match between DX and the Outsiders. And then when the match ended, you had Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Triple H, and HBK all hugging in the middle
mm,
of the ring at the end because they were about to go to WCW and it was their last match. And they had to cut it short because Vince was not happy because they broke kayfabe.
yeah,
But
it's
now you can't stop people breaking character. R-Truth breaks everyone in his path every time he's on the bloody microphone. I mean, look at when Ciampa came in last week, and he goes, he didn't even say anything, and everyone's laughing and breaking character. Miz is like, dude, what's going on?
How
What
how
the hell
Miz
is
though?
happening?
How Miz keeps a straight face throughout it all.
I don't know.
Like that segment when they get it, they get in their titles. And truth, he's trying to break Miz. There's no doubt about it. But Miz is just like,
Yeah,
nah.
that's probably his goal. His goal is like, I'm going to break Miz this week
Like
because he knows it's hard to
he
do. But yeah,
even
when he goes,
broke
I see right through you, Mister Tommaso Ciampa.
that broke Triple
Even
H
Triple
though.
H was like,
You
I can't.
you saw he was ready to just
Yeah.
blow. Like he was like, I'm done.
Well, I mean, he said,
Pierce,
didn't he? He said,
take
"Can
it.
I?" He said at one point, he said, "Can I go now?" Because he knew he was gonna break. He was like, "Can I go back now?" Because he was like, "I'm done. I can't take it anymore. I just can't."
Because he's got to obviously be that serious face of the company. He can't be
Yeah,
seen to be constantly laughing and joking. But yeah,
I
when
love. It's one of my favorite pastimes actually. When I'm watching anything to do with wrestling, it's just going through YouTube and finding wrestlers break character.
well
I
Jey
think it's great.
Uso's one big
Well,
advocate
that
of that,
video that
isn't
I
he?
sent you with the 2 minutes of Jey Uso breaking
Just
character, and the funniest one I thought was where Roman Reigns is holding his
oh my
face and he's
god,
like, say
he's
it," and he's like, "Not
laughing,
today, Uso, not today."
but he's just like he's trying not to
But
laugh, but you can hear it.
yeah. But it's like the Usi segment when Sammy went, he's just not feeling very Usi. And he tries to walk away, and Roman grabs him and goes, "No, no, no, you're going to stand right here and you're going to face the camera."
I think
But
you've
yeah,
got to have it though at times, like
yeah.
seeing them just
I mean,
be themselves because
they're working a stressful job. They're on a tight schedule. They're away from their
you've got to
families.
get
They're
to know the
making friends.
person that goes with the character.
Exactly. Yeah,
You see
yeah. To a
it. You
degree,
see it
you
with
do, and
movie
I think
stars
it
all the
helps
time.
connect you.
You
Yeah,
you want to.
absolutely.
You've got your favorite actor. You want to get to know the actor. So
Yeah, of course
you've
you
got
do.
your favorite wrestler. Why do you not want to know your favorite
Yeah.
wrestler off camera at the
But
same
I
time?
think Jay breaking is hilarious, especially when Sammy was breaking him because he was supposed to hate Sammy at that moment in time in that storyline. He was hating Sammy. It was like Sammy had been brought in by Jimmy. Jay hated him because he was taking over the spotlight of Jim, and he was like, "Oh, I know he's going to turn his back, etc." But every time Sammy stepped up to say something, Jay just broke, and it just made it all the sweeter that he was supposed to just be absolutely dead set against Sammy.
Yeah, pure straight face, mean streak.
Yeah,
Don't even blink. But yeah,
yeah.
he was doing the whole
I
fake.
think
Oh, I've got an itch. I've
personally,
got an itch. Oh, oh.
yeah, or they go like this.
Yeah.
My favorite character break of all time is when Santino Marella was with what's his name? That Russian guy that used to do like dancing and stuff. I can't remember his name now. But he was teamed with him, and he brought Sheamus to the ring, and they were dressed up as English gentlemen because they were in London. And he sat Sheamus down for a cup of tea, and he was having a feud, and Sheamus kept losing to Santino. I said to him, "How do you like your tea? Milky?" He's like, "Oh, no, 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 I don't mean anything against that. He's like, it's just because you're plain white and you've got no pigmentation and stuff like this." And Sheamus, you can see Sheamus trying not to break, and Santino's like, "I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you." And
It's,
he did the same.
it is a goal for
He used to
certain
break
people.
everybody.
It's, but
Yeah,
you
but
see,
I think it should be.
but you
But
see
they all
truth.
tried to break. Do you know why this? Do you know why the Spinneroonie was created?
No, go on.
Spinneroonie was created to try and break Undertaker. From what I read, I might be wrong, but it was there to try and break people. And I think specifically they tried to break the Undertaker because he was notorious for never breaking.
Mm,
And then there was one night that they tried to get the Kane did the Spinneroonie, or he's
yeah,
called the Kane-a-Rooney. Randy Orton's done it. They've had Vince McMahon try it, and they kept trying to get Undertaker to do it, and Undertaker just refused.
no,
He's like, "I'm not doing it,"
a
and he
man
kind of
about his
smiled and then
passion.
walked off. Yeah,
Fair
yeah.
play, fair play. But like you
I
say,
mean, he
is
did the utmost professionalism from Mark Calloway the entire time he was in that position.
yeah, but he was. But if you're a guy that's basically built as a solo character, then why are you
Yeah.
not going to try and constantly stay within
Yeah, exactly.
that
But then again,
mindset?
he's had teams and stuff in the past, but ultimately, yeah, he was a solo
But he's never
character. I mean,
had.
I still remember his
It's never been a consistent team. It's
no.
always
I mean,
it's
they had the Brothers of
that's the
Destruction,
main
which
one. But
for me should have been. Yeah.
Kane was always
But then if you look at
again solo.
Kane's debut where he comes up through the cage, comes up through the ring in the cage, and beats up Undertaker, and Undertaker is refusing to touch him because he's his little brother. He's like, "Oh, you can give me everything you got. I'm not going to touch you. You're my sibling.
That
You're my
was,
younger
I
brother.
think
It's
that
not
was
going to
like
happen."
a lot of people's like one of my people's most favourite debuts, isn't it? That
Yeah, it's
seeing,
a hell of a debut. I mean, they built it up for weeks that they were talking about this, this kid Kane, and they'd been caught in a house fire when he was younger with, and he was Undertaker's brother, etc. And it got to a point where a lot of people, I think, at least for me personally, it got to a point where I was thinking, well, where are we ever going to see this guy? And out of nowhere, this big hand comes out through the ring mat
yeah,
and starts pummeling the Undertaker, and it's just like, dude, if you can do that to the Undertaker, what the hell is going on? Because Undertaker, although he wasn't always the tallest, he was the badass. It doesn't matter if he was the dead man, the American badass. He was always the man that everybody feared. He maintained that for his entire career, that he was the person to fear.
it's that
And
dong,
if
isn't
Undertaker
it?
stepped to you, yeah, exactly. It's that music, is that the thunder strikes. It's the whole, and when he had Paul Bearer with him, when Paul Bearer was alive, it was that whole magnitude and the aura and the presence that he brought, and even just his entrance, the slow walk with the smog and the
Yeah,
fog coming up from and the torches with his minions and stuff.
but you,
And yeah, he just
but it was always the SmackDown when Teddy Long come out, and it was just like your next opponent, and it was like, well, the
mm.
Undertaker every week,
And you just see the
and you're just
fear in someone's eyes. Yeah,
like no
well, I
matter who
love
it
to see
was,
that.
JBL, Batista, Mark Henry, like
Yeah, yeah.
they all
Everybody
feared
was like,
him.
"No, I don't want to face the Undertaker." Yeah, but it's like the last time, or the one notable that I saw of that a surprise, but also like kind of fear. And I think mainly probably because they were playing it. I don't know if he knew about it or not. AJ Styles' debut at the Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns hears it and he's like looking at it. He's like looking. He's like, "Who? I
Mm.
don't recognize this music." And then all of a sudden, AJ Styles comes out and he just looks and he's like, "Oh shit." And I love that. I love when you see, and that's why I love Heyman. Heyman's facial expressions are just on point every time.
But you've always you need that superstar where everyone just fears.
Yeah.
As soon as they hear that music, it was like you rolled it
And
back. It
the other
was
one that is feared is that when you hear that, and it's Brock Lesnar, you hear
yeah.
that, wow,
Well, it was Batista
and
for a
it's,
while,
yeah,
weren't it? When he was the
yeah, it
animal, it
was,
was like
yeah,
people heard his music and it was just like drop everything. It was like, oh god, like even
yeah,
Triple H was scared of him
yeah.
because obviously he brought him up through evolution and built
And
him.
then he
He sort
turned,
of built him into a bigger monster than what he thought he would,
yeah,
basically. And then
yeah,
Batista, yeah, went and ran SmackDown for a couple of years, literally just. And then obviously Mark Henry come along, took him out for a little while, and then that's when I think you saw the better Batista when he come back, and he just literally turned
yeah. I
into
think
a
so.
wild animal,
Yeah,
and
I
he
think
did
so.
not care
I mean, the
who he
matches that he
betrayed.
had, yeah.
When he done
Well,
it to Ray,
look,
weren't it?
completely turned on Rey Mysterio, just annihilated Rey Mysterio,
All happy,
absolutely ruined him.
all dancing, and all of a sudden he was just like his face just went from
Yeah,
this big smile just to
turned.
just pure anger, as if to
Yeah.
say
There's very
no.
few people that can. I mean, there's been people that have done heel turns that you've gone, no, this isn't the right person for a heel turn. And then you look at people and it's like I think the most famous heel turn for me, the one that sticks out in my mind when you see heel turn, is the Rockers and Shawn Michaels turning on Marty Jannetty and he throws him through that window in the barber shop when they're talking to Brutus the Barber Beefcake. And for me, that's one of the biggest heel turns that you'll ever see because it was shock and awe.
Hmm.
Um, but that's another thing that we're seeing come back now.
Yeah,
Like you said, is that personal side of things where they're having the segments away from the ring. I know they have the segments in the ring, like like the KO show and stuff they do sometimes.
but
But I like the segments that they have in the back, like they used to as well, like
yeah,
Piper's Pit and stuff.
and also touching on these back segments, I'm loving again though these new entrance types of
Yeah, seeing them
videos
arrive early in the day
that they're
and getting a bit of a preset of what their
or
mindset
even
is before the evening and
when they're
stuff.
starting though, it's just obviously that you're seeing them on their way out to the ring rather than just
seeing them in gorilla
seeing
position, ready to go up.
the
Yeah,
music
yeah,
hits and they come out. You're seeing it from the other side, and I think
yeah.
it's a great touch like to have because you sort of
I
see
do.
you see them getting pumped, getting
They
ready.
are the camera angles and stuff that they're operating with now are on a whole
And they're
other level to
expressing
what we've ever
themselves a little
seen
bit more
inside wrestling. Yeah,
for it.
absolutely. And I'm here for it,
Like
100%.
Sammy's one last week, going with the fans, just riling them up, riling
Yeah,
himself up. Kevin Owens just being himself, having a laugh
yeah.
on his way out to the ring to get
So I
pumped.
loved on WrestleMania.
Becky Lynch,
I loved when,
she done
yeah,
it this week.
and it's like I
Solo,
really loved WrestleMania when Sammy was walking out and then KO's just stood there right by the entrance. He goes, "You can do this," and then the next night it was Kevin's turn, and he was like, "It's your turn. You're doing this now." I love that. I love the camaraderie that you see of people that they think is deserving, and they want them to win, and they want them to like end a streak or something. I think that's absolutely fantastic. I love those moments, like the WWE account where when Brock ended the streak, you see him out the back hugging the Undertaker and stuff. Yeah, okay, 20 years ago, you never have seen that.
no,
But I love that because Brock and Lesnar have always had the utmost respect for each other. They're two great talents. There's no denying Brock as a wrestler
no,
at all.
not at all.
Um, Again, and like you said, I think I like the new angle that they're going with, and like you said, with the whole Becky situation, winning the championship and going in the crowd, and the new camera angles they're playing with backstage and coming out onto the entrance route. I think it's fantastic, and I hope that carry that forward because I know we're not the only ones. I've seen a lot of people saying in comments on Instagram and stuff, oh, they're cooking with these new camera angles, they're having an amazing time, and it's fun to be a wrestling fan again. And even Michael Cole said it, I'm in love with professional wrestling again.
Yeah, it's just that you're involving the fans a lot more though.
Yeah,
You're giving them a account to say we know you're here, so
yeah,
we'll give
we
you
want to hear what you've got to
we'll
say.
give you back something. And like, who doesn't want a wrestler to stand by their side or put their arm around them and walk off? If
Yeah,
like you
or even
saw,
like little kids. I went to that wrestling show, that live wrestling show a couple of weeks ago with Badger, and this little girl kept coming out of her seat, walking like halfway up the arena just to say and get a high five. And
mm,
these are guys that
it
are
makes
local wrestlers,
it makes
that
their
for a
year.
small.
These
It,
kids,
exactly. So just to get a high five, or for someone to come and stand shoulder to shoulder with you while they're hiding the championship, it's incredible. I mean, I would love it as a massive wrestling fan. I think I would, you know, I would just go insane. I wouldn't know what to do.
like, I wouldn't care what wrestler it was. If whoever high fived me, I'd be like, "Geez, like hello,
Yeah, exactly. It's a big thing for a lot of people, isn't it?
it's
The
that."
wrestling runs deep in a lot of people, and a lot of people go, "Oh well, wrestling's fake" and stuff like this, and people have got their reservations about it. But when you're a wrestling fan, you're a wrestling fan, and that's one great thing about all wrestling fans is it becomes a community instantly because you've got a common ground, you've got a common passion, and it's like anything. If you've got a passion for football or you've got a passion for tennis, instantly you've got a talking point. But
Mm.
wrestling is like just a hugely extended family.
Yeah, it's like I say, you see these people who obviously when they go on about being fake and what you're doing, but it's no different to them watching Love Island. I'm sorry, in that sense,
But
it's
exactly, and
like
it's like
you
Chris Van
ridicule
Vliet
them
said
for
it really
them,
well.
and they'll get all
Yeah,
their backs up against it. So how can then
exactly.
they go up against someone else? Like,
But it's like
just shut the fuck up
Chris.
and let people enjoy
I
what they
don't know
want to
if you're
enjoy.
aware of who Chris Van Vliet is. So he's a YouTuber that does a lot of interviews with wrestlers. He's making a real name for himself on the YouTube scene and in the wrestling scene. A lot of people know him to the point that he got exclusive access to a lot of the superstars at WrestleMania weekend for interviews. That's how big he's becoming. But he did an interview with one of his friends, and he goes, "Oh, I remember you being into professional wrestling. Are you still watching that?" And he goes, "Well, yeah." He said, and he said, "But you're aware it's fake?" And he said, "Well, I know that it's scripted in the sense of, it's the outcome is predetermined." And the guy was like, "But you know who's going to win?" And he was like, "No, I don't know. The audience don't know." we have an idea watching the match, but we don't know.
No.
And he said, but it's fake, right? And he said, but it's no different to you watching a movie. And he said, well, of course it is. He said, well, it's not. He said, because you don't know who's going to go. You don't know going into that movie who's going to die, or or what's going to happen. You don't know. He said, and it's no different to me going into wrestling. He said, they go in and people do get seriously hurt. So no, it's not fake. He said, but the outcome is predetermined. But he said it's no different to you go in to watch Top Gun and you don't know that Tom Cruise is Maverick to start with.
No. Or you don't know if a
Yeah,
main character's going to die.
exactly that.
All you've seen
And
is
he
a
kind of
2-minute
shut him down,
trailer.
and I was like, thank God. Yeah, and like you said, it's no different to watching a show like Love Island or
But
something. At the end of the day.
also, you can notice the difference between the UK fans and the American fans. In America, it doesn't matter if you love it, if you like wrestling or not.
No,
You
it's
don't get the
so big
piss
over
taken
there.
out of you in that sense.
Yeah.
But over here, you've just got to be careful because, like, you say it, and all of a sudden you're absolutely steamrolled for it. Like you've,
It's almost like people are thinking, that you should be ashamed of it. No, sod you. I'm a wrestling fan. I have been since I was 4 or 5 years old. I've
like,
been watching wrestling
but
for
you've got to
32
hide those
years. I'm not going to stop
colours
now.
because
No, sod that. I don't care.
it's a weird. It's weird how different the culture is between us and the
Yeah,
Americans. Like the pure love and
it
how
is.
big
It's
they
so,
make
and I think
everything
that's
for
it.
it.
And I think when you're younger, like certainly when I was younger, when I was about, my son's age, like 9 or 10, and I spoke to my friends about wrestling, they were all into it, and
Mm.
it was massive. But then as you get older, you realise people stopped watching it and dropped off watching it. Me, I never stopped.
No,
I stopped for a few years, but I kept my toes in the water,
but you just had to
keeping up to
hide
date
it
with
though,
what's
didn't you?
going
You
on.
couldn't speak to no one about it. It was you
Yeah,
just sort of like when I go back to obviously like the Batista day, like watching him, he got me back into it through SmackDown
yeah,
and obviously that dominance. But it was at that point, it was like obviously you're with your friends all the time. You're a teenager. You can't talk to them back because you know that none of them are there like going to
yeah. None
enjoy
of
it
them
and
gonna
they're going to
watch
take
it.
a piss out of you. But it was like obviously SmackDown then started at 10, half 10 UK time.
Mm,
So I was always make the excuse on a Friday night to get home ready for
yeah,
SmackDown to start so I could then watch it. But
yeah.
obviously, I'd never say to my friends like why I'm going home. I'm just,
So I didn't care. I'll be honest, I didn't care too much. I mean, I used to stay up till 3, 4 o'clock in the morning
I'd record every Raw
watching
show.
Monday Nitro. Monday Nitro I used to watch because I didn't have Sky, so I couldn't watch WWE. So I had cable, so I'd watch TNT and I'd watch WCW Monday Nitro, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah,
I absolutely fucking loved it.
I had to. Yeah, I would always record. Obviously, because every premium live event was on
Yeah,
Sky Sports standard. I could record
yeah,
that on my V8 VCR, and then
yeah.
also
Fucking
Monday
hell.
Night Raw
How
as
old are
well.
we? VCR.
I remember it. I had this big fat ass
You just have to write
silver,
the massive label on the side of the VCR. Do not tape over this.
big fat
Could
ass
be someone's
silver
wedding video.
TV with a
Yeah,
VCR
yeah,
and a DVD combo. That
yeah.
was the one. And then yeah, literally record it and then watch it the next day after school.
Or when you're 13 and you've got in your bedroom a little 14-inch big square box with a DVD player built in at the bottom. Those are the days. Your Alba TV from Argos.
But yeah, I just literally remember recording it all and
But
yeah,
this
it's
is
just
why I love
great.
the community that we've made, because obviously for some people that don't know, you and I both stream on Twitch. This is why I love the communities that we've come together, because some of the people in our communities respectively don't watch wrestling, don't
No,
keep up to date with it, but because we both run e-feds, they've got involved in wrestling because they've got a character and they want to see. And again, it's no different to real wrestling. They're involved. They get to talk shit to other people. They get to watch their wrestler fight and stuff like that. But then there's a lot of people like Oni and Boss. Like Boss has started watching it again, didn't watch it for years. That has reignited their passion to go and watch wrestling, and then they've started watching WWE retrospectively from our streams, and they're like, "Why haven't I watched this for years again? It's so good. I've
yeah,
missed it."
it's a lot of people are getting back into it again though. Like speaking
Yeah.
to one of my, literally speaking to one of my friends earlier, and was saying obviously about what we're doing and the podcast. And obviously, I said, "Are you
Yeah.
talking like real wrestling or obviously the um like game, like obviously the e-feds that we run
Yeah.
as
Yeah. Yeah.
well?" And then I was like, "No, no, like talking like WWE." And he was like, "Well, yeah, like I've obviously started to, I see more and more of it online." So obviously
Yeah.
there, he's then reading into it. Then the nostalgia comes back, and all of a sudden you get a little pinch to say, "Oh, I'm going to start having a look into it a bit more." And obviously, then
Takes
they do. Because
This is why TikTok is so
did you
successful,
see?
because it takes 7 seconds to grab someone's
Speaking of
attention
TikTok,
thereabouts.
did you see the girl that went viral because she started getting videos on her TikTok feed for you regarding wrestling? And she said she put video out saying, "I had never watched wrestling in my life. I've never
Right.
understood it, and now all of a sudden there's people reacting to wrestling on my feed.
Okay.
Like, but now all of a sudden I've got an itch. Where do I start? What do I do? How do I do this?" Like, trying to obviously
Who do
just,
I
she,
get
she
to
had
know?
no
What are the
idea. And
people to
then
cheer? Who are the people to boo?
all of
Yeah.
a sudden there was a comment from The Undertaker underneath
Oh,
it
wow.
saying, "You've got a lot of catching up to do, but I'm sure my guys can get you tickets to to a live event to get you started." And then obviously
That's
from that,
amazing.
it just blew up. And then
Just
she released
spiraled.
another
Yeah.
video to
Yeah.
say, "Right, now you guys have got to help me. Give me somewhere to start because I need to watch wrestling." Like, from
Yeah.
someone going who's never, didn't even understand it,
Never
to
seen it,
now
to now being like a
a
fully
point,
fledged fan, going to live events and wanting
give me something,
help from
give
people.
me start because
Yeah.
I
Oh,
need to watch
wow.
it now. The
That's
Undertaker's
crazy.
literally just commented on my post, like, "What the fuck?"
Mm.
Within 24
She probably, and
hours.
the thing is somebody like that wouldn't even know what magnitude of man that is. They're not going to know who the Undertaker is. They're going to be like, "Oh, this Undertaker's
But she praised the
got my
fan base
verification tick."
because
Yeah,
obviously
yeah,
that fan base helped it blow up in the sense of they were all with her. They were all telling her different bits of why they like
yeah.
wrestling or how to get
I mean,
into
I've never
wrestling, where
heard,
to
like,
start.
you go to like football events and stuff like that, and you always hear of like fans fighting and and slagging each other off and getting into massive brawls and stuff. And obviously the UK is notorious for that,
Mm,
especially years ago with all the the football crews and stuff like that. But I've never heard of like a wrestling event where people have gone out and gone, "Well, you fucking hate John Cena, so I'm going to beat you up."
yeah, literally,
It's just it's not heard of.
you're all mixed in
It
together.
is. It's Yeah. We all sat next to each other. I
Yeah,
don't
you've
care if
got
you
your
hate Roman
debates,
Reigns.
but that's what it is. That's all it is. It's debate. It's a debate.
Yeah,
Like, for the fan base, yeah, you've got the toxic part of it between WWE and AEW, but to me, it's irrelevant because
but again, I don't.
you're there to
I
watch pro
Yeah,
wrestling.
you're there as a wrestling fan. If you're a WWE fan, fine. If you're an AEW fan, fine. But I think you need to respect both brands for what they can bring to the table. Yes, AEW are a lot smaller. They're still growing. They're still very much in their infancy. They've only been going for what, 4 or 5 years,
Mm.
maybe 6 at a push.
But people
They're
just
still
want to
very, and they've
hate
still got some
something,
big
though.
names. Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
problem.
People always want something to hate. Exactly that.
And anything they see fit to pick up on, "Oh, look at
Yeah,
this, look at what's happening in WWE here." Like, someone's done something, they've botched a random move, but it's live. Something's going to
but
happen.
it's no different to a comedian on stage saying a joke wrong, going, "Oh shit, I fucked it up. I got
Yeah,
pissed off."
exactly. They're performing in front of fans live. It's not.
Yeah,
They're not stopping and they're not like reacting that part. It's not like,
yeah.
"Oh, cut.
They've not like
We'll do
gone,
that
"Oh,
scene
okay, let's
again."
go back and we'll start this again."
Like,
They've yeah, exactly
they
like you said.
literally.
They carry on. They try and make it look as crisp as possible where they can, and they carry on. And but people are so quick to pick up on it,
That's the problem.
and
It's
mistakes happen.
like, enjoy professional wrestling. Yes, you can
Yeah,
like what you want to like within professional wrestling, but
yeah,
respect
yeah.
the actual sport itself.
Exactly. That's
Like,
exactly right. And that's the thing. And you can't not respect the people that are doing it. They put their bodies on the line every day, taking a bump fucking hurts. I've never taken one, but
No.
you listen to people and you talk to people, and you can hear that mat when you're at a live event, and you can hear that canvas smash. You're like, damn, you know it's gonna hurt.
Which,
You know full well
like
it's gonna hurt.
people like Edge are not being thrown through 4 tables for
Yeah,
the fun of it, off the top of a ladder.
exactly.
Like Jeff Hardy's not
Well, I mean, they might
swan-tomming.
find it fun. That might be a weird kink.
Yeah, but do you know what I mean? Like Jeff Hardy's not
Yeah,
swanton bombing off the top of
he's not
everything
jumping off a 25-foot ladder to swanton Shane McMahon
just because.
because it's fun.
Yeah,
I mean, Jeff Hardy strikes me as the kind of guy that would find that fun. But yeah, I know what you mean. It's not without its,
no,
I mean, you see like Kurt Angle, his legs are completely bent all the time because of the damage he's done to his knees over time. I saw Gangrel. Gangrel's still amazing in the ring, but he's 56.
he
He's only
looks.
56. It's
I've
not
seen him
old by any means,
lately.
and his legs come out because of
Yeah,
all the damage, and it has a toll on the body. You can't do
that's
any kind of sport that physical,
no.
whether it be professional wrestling, whether it be, I don't know, even stuntmen to a degree are going to have that sort of damage because
Yeah,
although they get padded and stuff, there's
and they're
stuff
still
that's going to
throwing
go wrong,
themselves about and burning
Yeah,
themselves
exactly.
alive and stuff. Like
Yeah,
that's it. Like if you go back to like the hardcore wrestlers, like they're
yeah.
not. You're not turning up to a job
Then
just to throw yourself through windows or get smashed over
no,
the head constantly by a chair and all
yeah.
this. Just yeah, like
It's
there's a
it's
point
for the
to it.
love, isn't it? You have to really love and be really passionate. I mean, I've wanted to wrestle ever since I was a kid, and I think it is the one thing that, given the chance, if I was fit enough, like had enough stamina and healthy enough, if I would try it at least once. Absolutely, I would,
Oh
and I
yeah,
wouldn't care how much it hurt.
I mean we've all done it, like with our mates, we're back in schools
Well,
or
we've all done like
kids down
trampoline
the
wrestling
park
and
and
DDTs on the floor. Yeah, exactly.
choke slamming people and
Yeah,
rock bottoms and
absolutely.
stuff.
Super
But
kicking people.
yeah,
Yeah.
like,
That's exactly it, mate. That's exactly it. We've all done it. But I think that's the thing, isn't it? They used to say don't try this at home because kids did get hurt, but kids wanted to be, and we said this last week on the teaser episode. We said this last week. Kids, they were heroes back then.
yeah,
They weren't a superstar, it was a wrestler and they were a hero, and Hulk Hogan fit that bill massively, and there were a lot of other people that fit that bill that you looked up to them, and they were like Superman. They were a superhero
mm,
to a lot of kids growing up, and me included. I used to look up to the Ultimate Warrior and, and Sting and stuff like that, and I just go, "Oh my god, these guys can take on anybody, they can defeat anybody, they're absolutely incredible." And they are absolutely incredible. That's not to take away from them. They are absolutely amazing, and the stuff they put themselves through is just sometimes beyond me. I look at it and I go, "Wow," you know. And
100%.
I've always loved the more technical side to it. I love the promo stuff and the story stuff, but for me, if you get someone that is genuinely going out there and just putting on a show 110%, and they're doing it for the people, you can see how much they love it. It makes me love it that much more. So I went to a show in Hitchin early in January with Badger, and the company that we go to watch is called School of Slam Wrestling, SOS. They're based in Essex, and Richie, their current world champion, was fighting a veteran of British wrestling. So British wrestling, obviously, as you know, 6 rounds, 3 minutes, no ropes on the ring, and it's all very technical wrestling. And Richie was fighting a veteran called Johnny Kidd, who was very well known throughout the British wrestling industry. And you could see Richie's a heel. He's always shouting at the crowd, telling them you suck and getting in their faces and stuff.
Yeah,
But you could see on his face, he just genuinely had so much admiration for Johnny that he couldn't believe he was in the ring. He couldn't stop smiling. He was trying, and I even spoke to him afterwards, and I said, "I could see that you were trying not to smile." I said, "Yeah, but I just couldn't." He said, "I was so excited to be in the ring with someone that I've idolized for so long." He said that I just couldn't hide it. And for me, that made me enjoy that match so much more, knowing that he was so happy to be in there.
yeah,
Because it's just like anything, you see people love what they do, that passion exudes and makes you want to see it.
yeah, definitely.
But I think on that note, I think it's time to pull the episode to a close.
Yep.
So thank you everybody for listening. JJ, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said earlier, I've been excited to
You
do
too,
this.
Mr. Cat,
I
but
can't wait.
episode
Wait for
1
the
in the
next one.
bag.
Absolutely.
Plenty more
And
content to appear. Keep an eye on the socials.
so much. Yeah, that's exactly it. Keep an eye on the Instagram. JJ is spamming the Instagram with those videos. So if anybody does want to go and follow us on the socials on Instagram, it is at turn_buckle talk. My Twitch is Samtastic29. JJ's is JJDub97, and I think yours is pretty much the same everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
JJDub97 all
JJ
around the
Dub.
board. Whereas mine fucking varies everywhere because of the different variations that people have stolen from me. I'm joking. They clearly got there first. But thank you everybody for joining us. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you all again
Yep.
on the next one.
Take care, guys.
Take care.